3, 2, 1.
Light them up.
I'm Paul.
This is Buck.
This is the Paul and Buck Show.
Hey, the big Buckin deal. Curious? Download the latest app at paulandbuckshow.podbean.com.
So here's a new show. We're back. We're doing another one. This time we've got none other than another street racer from Austin turned
From
movie
Austin,
star.
Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, Central Texas.
He's been bussing many people around.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, that's. I want to hear about that. 'Cause like I said, Paul filled me
So
in a
let's
little bit.
bring him on. Go for it, man.
Tell us a
Who
little
are
about.
you?
Tell us about your name. Where you from?
All right.
Yeah, what's going on?
Donnie Dye from Austin, Texas.
Austin.
There you go.
Yep.
Donnie Dye's been around. What, you've been racing since when?
Man, late 90s.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Because that's when I
Late
met you.
90s.
I met you in the mid 90s, somewhere around there.
Could have been mid.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Everybody always
Somewhere in there.
Everybody likes to put a timeline when they talk.
Yeah.
And so this is probably the reigning performance day.
Oh, yeah.
Reigning
Yeah.
Reigning,
performance.
oh,
It
yeah.
was after Super Shops.
Yep.
You know, so it was Super Shop,
Yep.
6th Street, Palmer Auditorium, I guess Super Shops after that, and then
There were some spots in
Reigning.
between, too.
Yeah.
We did the post office, right?
the post office.
Then we did the...
No, this is all in South Austin. Area.
Yeah, no,
Central?
it's
Okay.
north.
North,
It's
okay.
central.
yeah.
Well, rainy, yeah.
And at one time, they were doing it in the parking lot by the post office right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
I mean, it was, yeah.
So we're gonna
Yep.
go towards, like I always ask everybody, what part of town you from? Where'd you grow up?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm just going.
And then so what part of town you from? South, east? Where do you?
So I've lived all over Austin because I lived here, pretty much all my life.
Yeah.
But growing
Born
up,
and raised.
east side.
East side.
Yeah, Montopolis, Tom Grow, the
My
drive-in.
aunt.
The drive-in
worked at
movie.
Tom Grow.
Yeah, the drive-in movie theater.
Yeah.
Anderson Auto.
Tell them about that movie.
The Boomerang.
Tell them about the drive-in theater
There's
on
a couple
Burleson
times
Road.
that people don't remember
Or
that.
people are racing, and how much of a distraction was
Was that like
right?
Right. What was that place called?
I don't know, but it was
Yeah, it was
horrible.
Triple X, right?
Triple X.
What was it? The Rebel Drive-In.
The Rebel Drive.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Man, you couldn't race and catch something on the left corner of your eye. It's like, what the freak? Yeah.
Right.
But all right, so we know we've established where you grew up.
Oh, yeah.
Montopolis had a drive-in too.
That's right.
That was another one.
That's where the Sonic is and those
Yeah.
apartments right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, that brings flashbacks. I remember we coming back
Yeah.
from HEB and I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I seeing on the
Yeah,
screen?
they had that drive-in there, then they had the one at Ben White and 35 where the Walmart is right now. So that was another one.
See if we can put this sucker. Is it picking it up pretty good?
I can hear a
This
little
mic?
bit.
You may scoot it up a little bit.
Yeah, however you want, cause
I think if you face it down, let's see.
yeah,
Yeah.
as long as you can get to it.
Talk to it.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think that's. I can
Yeah,
hear a
that'll
little
work.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just make sure I don't have
Yeah.
to edit so much.
All right. Yeah.
No, we're good.
Right.
I need to raise the voice a little bit more.
Exactly.
So anyway, so at what point do you realize, hey man, I want to do drag? Are you doing, are you into the car thing during high school or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when did that all come about? Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good question.
So my dad, he's a mechanic, or he was a mechanic.
Mhm.
But my dad was more, he really never had the money to do hot rodding or that.
Right.
He was more kind of the builder, he wanted to go a million miles,
There you go.
He didn't really care about going fast or, he didn't have the money for it really
Yeah.
to do that. So if you go back and you look in the high school yearbook, it'll show that like when all the field trips for the automotive class or whatever, I'm in all of them.
Yeah.
But in reality, I was never in that class. Basically, the counselors, like I didn't care for high school.
So you check in, but you can check right.
It was boring, It was really boring,
Yeah.
So the counselors are like, oh yeah, we gotta do something for this guy.
And which high school is this?
Del Valley.
Del Valley.
Del Valley.
The bus. You know how the bus you drive it right through the middle. I would always look over to the right of my shoulder just to see if I could catch some kind of cool cars in the garage, but there was hardly ever anything really nice coming out of that. It's like,
Well,
damn.
it's Del Valley back then. I mean,
Yeah.
it was rough, man.
There was more in the parking lot going on than it was in the shop, but
Yeah.
a lot of center lines,
Yeah.
center line wheels.
Right.
All right, so you do that, and what kind of package do they offer you, man?
So they just said, school's not for everybody. That's kind of what they told me. And I said, yeah, you're right. Like I was ready, man, I was ready to start life already.
Yeah.
Even at 14, 15 years old, I'm ready to rock and roll. I want to get a job, man. I want to get out there and get in the action, yeah, I was ready.
Yeah.
I could already see moving on.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, back then you had a lot of opportunity to get a job, and they wouldn't really push school too much, other than
And also growing up, my parents didn't push it either.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, you're going to go to college, you're going to do this and that. That wasn't spoke at my house. My house was like, when you turn 18, you're going to get a job and you're going to work.
Right.
I'm like, hell yeah, I want to.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I was
HEB
ready.
down the road.
I was ready.
Yeah.
So, and I was cool with that.
So did you do like the fast food, or you just went straight to the?
No, I never did the fast
automotive?
food. The automotive stuff was more like kind of on my own. Like when I was younger, I would I don't know. I came up with this idea that I was like, all right, how is life? It's like, all right, the more I mess up, the more opportunity there is to learn.
Right.
I'm like, hell yeah, let's mess some stuff up. and man,
Make some mistakes and learn.
And I was like eager to tear shit up, tear it up.
Yeah.
And with engines and learning nitrous, learning tuning, learning building. I was known for like, don't take your car to him because he's gonna blow your shit up. He always blows his shit up. But here I am. But I'm pushed. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Right.
But I was pretty fearless about doing a 300 shot, a 400 shot, or
Right.
Well,
it was obvious. You showed up with a big old blower
Right.
that nobody was using back then.
Yeah.
And it's sticking out of the out of the car. It's so high that even if you put a hood on it, it's
right.
like
It
the
was
intake
it was level.
is coming out.
The hat was level with the roof of the car.
With the roof of the
the
car.
Fox body.
It was definitely nose heavy. That
Yeah.
was it. So, all right. So at what point do you take those cars
How did I get there?
and start
Yeah.
putting them into the slick? I'm gonna go to these pads and race
right.
where I run into
So
you.
so
Yeah.
basically, I was under the school of, it was cubic inches versus cubic dollars. Okay, so you had the two types of racers. You had guys that had, man, a lot of money, no
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
They could put a lot of money into small engines and they could go fast. To me, like, I know this sounds really funny to say, but like the American way, you get the biggest motor and the smallest car, and you try to go as fast as you can with that. So I got to thinking, I was like, well, I grew up a Ford guy, so I was like, all right, what's Ford's biggest motor? Is a 460. What's some of the lightest, smallest cars that I can fit that 460 in? I was like, shit, a Fox body.
Yeah.
So my friend had a 79 coupe, and he was going to crush it. And he says, man, I'm going to crush this car. Do you want it?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn right, I want it. And so
They were so affordable back then too.
they were everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
They were everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the 79. That's a 4-eyeball.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, I wanted it to be the cool. I didn't have the money at the time for a cool. What do they call it? What do they call the Arrow, or what the hell they 87 and 93.
Oh.
That's what I wanted. So of course, all that's swappable. So I swapped
Yeah,
the
it's
front
all-
end,
yeah, it's all-
swapped the windows. But I bought a Thunderbird. I forgot what year it was. It had a 460 in it for a few $100. Pulled that motor out and I put it in that Mustang, and then I had my first go fast car.
Wow. And how do you come into so how long did you have that car? Did you race it for a period of time? And because I don't remember you in that one, but I do remember you in another one.
I didn't have that one for very long. I had it maybe for a year. This dude came up and offered me money for it, and it was way more than I had in it. So I was like, hell yeah, because I really wanted an 87 and 93.
Yeah.
And then I had more ideas of different motors and different. you know how it is.
Yep.
So I was ready to sell that one, and then after that, I think that's when I got Bobby's.
Do you meet Bobby Sicaro first, and then get to see his car? How did you meet him? And then we'll talk about him.
So I would say I don't have a real clear memory of Bobby, but I would say it was in the period of Riverside area during that time.
Okay.
Slightly before that time, but that's.
And so you came in. So I'll fill in the little gap.
Yeah,
I knew Bobby, and it was a time where I had transferred over to Bowie High School because there was just, man, in my area there was just, man, nobody had the fast car. There was no cars. It was like low riding. I don't know low riding. I mean, I like it, I like the paint jobs, but there was no drag racing. So I said, I think I'm gonna transfer to Bowie, where I should have gone in the first place anyway. And so I get out there, and that's one of the first few guys that I meet, and at the cafeteria, because they're talking cars, and I can hear, I was on the button, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What are y'all talking about? I hear something I like, man. So after a while, so I get to sit down with them, talk some shit. And Bobby's a short little guy. He's real stocky. And then I run into him in the weight room because I used to like lifting weights, and he was like one of the strongest bench press, shortest little dude. I mean, I guess his arms were so short that he could just power lift, So he was real strong, and he had a Volkswagen, and I was building my car, of course, and I already had gotten myself in trouble, so I couldn't drive until I was 18. So my car is sitting at home, but I run into him finally later on down down on 6th Street, and he's like, hey man, so this is your car? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, I remember your car. I remember seeing you got picked up once. And he goes, let's run. And so we went by Callahan's, and his car takes off, and he maybe got me for like one car, and then I passed him up, and he's like, man, what do you have in it? And I said, man, just a 350 Super Shops kit is what it is. And so anyway, that's how I meet him. But it wasn't long after that he gets that Mustang, and I think it was gold. And he flipped his spare tires, or got another one, and he put them in the front. And he's fuel injected, didn't like it, carbureted that damn thing, and he starts running even when nobody is racing. He is out there forcing people to race him. And when there was nothing going on during the winter, that he was the racist. I mean, he'd get anybody and shine the flashlight at him. No, you are gonna race. No, I've never run my car. It doesn't matter. Let's just get used to it. So he'd get people excited. First paranoid, and then they're like, dude, you just made that dude blow up his rear end because he can't stop racing, one wheel. But that's who he was. He'd get everybody enthused. And then eventually, I don't know, I guess he got rid of his car, maybe depression or something, I don't know. He passed away from some complications, and then I don't see his car for a while until I see you in it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's that. I'm seeing like when I saw your car, you had that, you cut the 5.0 and you turned it into a 7.
That's right.
And
7.5.
7.5. I'm like, holy shit, it's got a big block in it. But all I'm seeing is, his memory, of all that racing between the ages of 17 and like 25, 24, somewhere around there. And but it just got crazy, man, because one day I see the car and you've got this blower, man. It's like so huge. I'm like, how does that guy even see out of the window, man? That thing's like.
I get asked that often.
Did you?
Yeah, all the time.
And it was lowered for a while. Did you raise it back up? What did you do?
No, it actually, I because the way the weight sets in the car, a lot of people think, and the big block is heavier, obviously, than a small block. But because of the way the mounts are, because of the way everything is, it actually set higher in the front end than with the 302.
Right.
Just because it moved it so far back. Like when you put the motor in it, you gotta take a hammer and hit the sledgehammer and beat the firewall to get it, because it's so far back. To get so the back bolts when it drops in.
Crazy.
But yeah, I got the car, and people had talked about it being haunted and all this weird stuff. And to me, I'm not really into all that. I just like the car. And I was like, I don't believe all that. What I did do in Bobby's memory is I left the trunk all gold. He also had put all his stickers on the trunk lid.
Yeah.
I left all that in there in memory of him.
Yeah.
I like the car. I went kind of crazy one day. I was pretty fearless. I mean, obviously, I got some issues.
Yeah.
I was pretty fearless. Like, I wasn't scared of nothing. And I was like, people, man, they love making fun of me. I don't care. The boxes always tear out, right? Yeah. It's like, man, I know where I'm going with this car. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm gonna cut those boxes out. Yeah. I'm just gonna get rid of them now, right? And here I'm in my front yard, and I just get a salsa and I just cut the whole floor out, right? Wow. Because I was like, you know what?
It's gonna happen anyway.
This is what I tell myself. It's like, you know what? You're scared. All right. I'm telling, like, hyping myself up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're scared? Why don't you just do it now?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it now? Because otherwise, you're never gonna do it. You're gonna say you're gonna do it, but you're not gonna do it. You cut it out. You're gonna figure it out.
Then you're done. Yeah.
You're gonna have to
now
figure
you
it
gotta
out.
put something on.
Now you're gonna figure it out. You know. So I cut it out.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Did I visit you that morning? What the?
I don't know what happened.
Holy shit!
It's so I'd ordered a ladder bar setup. That's what the car ended up being. You know, it was a ladder bar setup.
Okay, yeah.
And so I put ladder bars in it. We welded in for the coilovers.
Wow.
Narrow rear end. You know, the on the mini tubs. Man, I didn't have money. I was spending money on the motors. You know, I'd go to the junkyard and just buy these bus motors, the 460s, and I had like a pile of them. You know, 'cause I'd blow them up all the time. And so,
hey, there was a bunch of guys that had a pile of 5.0 motors too, because they were busting them.
right, exactly. But my friends used to make fun of me. They said it was a tub by what's it called? Tub by Frigidaire or whatever. Because I cut the side of a refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I
Making
took,
tubs?
because I'd scoot up the tubs wider, but I needed something to fill in the gap, you know.
As aluminum.
And I had a refrigerator, so I cut the refrigerator and I welded that in there. It looked like hell, but I didn't care. Now I could fit my big tires, and it wasn't slinging stuff inside the car no more.
At least, right?
So that was kind of funny.
So what happened? So what happened to the car?
All right.
Yeah.
Where'd it go?
So something happened with me.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Vacation. You went
I
on vacation.
Well, I went on vacation eventually, but I think I went through some midlife crisis, man.
Oh,
you know,
shit.
I got my second divorce. I didn't have a place to live.
Yeah.
I had this car, and my friend was bugging me. Hey man, sell me that car.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
So I pulled the motor. I just got the 557 in there. That's when I dynoed it at wherever the hell I dynoed it at.
Yeah.
And it did good. I mean, you know, pump gas. I think it did 565 or something on motor, or 6 or 7. I don't know what it did. I was happy with it, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I got divorced. I think what happened is going back to, you know, I was ready to start life, right? I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, there was also a period where drag racing just kind of dried
petered.
up.
It did.
It petered out.
It kind of did because it was swapping back from. Of course, when we were street racing, it was street racing, right? So then Fast and the Furious comes out.
There you go. See,
And I was.
these shows haven't even aired out. He's already saying Fast and the Furious.
And I watched.
That's my theory.
I hate it.
I watched that and I started laughing. I was like,
That's my theory.
like
about
this is funny.
thing.
This is so far out there. This
Nice.
is like another right. And the dude's getting like 3 bottles, and it's gonna make more power. I was like, how's that shit work? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, his computer catches on fire and it falls through the floorboard. I don't know what happens. You know, like what the fuck's going on?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly, man. That's my theory.
He's got enough time to type
Yeah.
the keys.
Right.
And
I'm just like, I was like, oh, this shit's over.
Yes.
It
did. It killed it.
I don't remember Donnie Dye being like that.
Yeah, right. I was like, this ain't.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, they Hollywood it
He
trashed it.
ruined it.
It trashed it. And then you try to go to the parking lot, and then nothing wrong with fart cans, but like all these fart cans are here, and I'm like,
Coffee can.
I'm like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
damn, like I don't even want to go here, like, and you might see one of the old dudes or see one.
Yeah.
It was over.
Dude,
It was
me,
over.
Me and my friend
Yep, I mean,
Brian
that's-
Dobson. I don't know if you ever met a
It's
hillbilly,
over.
as they call him, hillbilly. We went to Super Shops, and so we're standing in line, man. We're trying to get me a carburetor, and there it is, man, right there on the freaking glass, about a 5-inch round tip, and it was called the bro tip. Man, we left laughing so hard. It was the bro tip.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, man, that's what we want to put on our car, the bro tip. Man.
Yeah, that
Yeah, it was over, dude.
Yeah, it was over.
So you got rid of your car.
So I sold the car to a friend of mine. He instantly resold it, which is fine. Dude, whatever, it's your car, do what you want.
Yeah.
It went to Oklahoma. And then the 557, I sold it to this other dude. I never got to run the 557. Sold the transmission to some dude.
Were you running a Chevy or a Ford transmission on it?
So I did go from a C6. I thought I was gonna like go faster, right, and go to a Glide.
Yeah.
I lost 1.2 seconds
Oh man.
in
With
the
the
quarter with the glide.
You need some gear, or
I needed
don't
more
know.
motor. I needed more motor and a lighter car. I thought, and more gear. I need
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
I needed it. 'Cause-
More
'cause
motor.
I-
Fuck it. We'll do that first.
Right. Whatever it was, I didn't have it.
Yeah. So.
I was pretty disappointed, to say the least. You know, you
Damn
lose
it.
it 1.2 seconds
That's a
after
lot.
spending thousands of dollars. You're like,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
sickening, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a learning curve for sure on a power glide. Like Bobby Scarrow here again. Maybe he was maybe he gave you some of his what do you call it, his juju.
Something, right, right.
He went from a 5-speed because he kept messing him up,
So,
and he went to a C4 and he put it on there, and his shit went back to slow. Well, it was kind of quick, but he wasn't winning as much as he wanted to, and he was known for being lightning quick on his shifting. I mean, literally, the light would come on, it would blink off. I mean, that's how. I mean, he was changing gears. You could see him in the Little River. His light barely come on. It's
Right.
quick. So he puts that automatic in there, and the first guy that he races is or I don't know if it's the first guy or not, but he races Al with the Cyclone. And we talked about Al.
I got beat
Al
by Al so many times.
That dude, man.
He would not roll down the window to save his life.
No,
Nah.
no, he wouldn't.
You couldn't pay him to roll down the window.
Yeah.
He'd open the door or do whatever he
Oh my God! Yeah, he'd open the door and he'd like go forward.
Right,
You know,
which-
I'm like,
right.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, he wouldn't roll down.
Yeah.
He didn't believe in rolling down windows.
No, he wanted to keep this thing like brand new.
Right.
And they rolled it down on him once at a car wash. Dude, he went ape shit. I mean,
bet he did.
Oh yeah.
That was a good deal.
And then that's when we found out he had 2 of them. You know. But anyway, so he races him, and Al just goes. I mean, it's all-wheel drive, so it yanked a little bit. He got right back in the groove, and I mean, they must have raced like at least 8 times that night. And each time, Bobby kept losing by either a car or half a fender, but he could never beat him. And he didn't last very long with that automatic, man, that he put his 5-speed back in. And I asked him, I said, dude, so what happened to your, man, fuck that automatic. You're so mad.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah, so it could ruin your winning streak or your good luck.
Yeah,
if you put something.
I was always real big about. I wouldn't stick with.
Yeah.
If it was wrong, I don't care if I spent. I don't care how much time. I don't care how much money. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's out
Yeah.
of there. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah.
You know?
So did you ever turn into a track guy, or did you always stay on the street level mentality? Did you ever say, "Yeah, let's try the track"?
So I did go to the track. I did go to Little River a lot. I did do all that, but I didn't have the money to compete on the track. I didn't have the money. I like having fun. I liked street racing.
Yeah.
It was exciting. It was fun. At the track, it just wasn't my thing.
It's
You know,
not. It's not for everybody.
Not forever.
it's-
I mean, yeah,
it's,
it's a thing.
You know, the bracket racing. I don't know. It just wasn't.
You know,
No, don't get me wrong. I say all this. I talk all that shit, and you go to my house. There's like a line of trophies from going to
Right.
the track.
Yeah.
But that's just like, Little Rivers, little races they got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the little,
Well,
little bracket
it's-
racing.
Yeah, little-
That was the only thing they were having back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a heads up thing. It was just bracket.
It's
Which, you know,
easy.
you had-
It's easy.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy to get a trophy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because see, Ray here, Buck here, he was mostly going to
Yeah,
the
I
track.
mean, that's what.
So there's 2 different types. I'm
Yeah.
more of the street guy, and I stayed in the woods for a reason because I didn't want nobody to know.
Yeah,
He-
like back.
track guy,
I
you know?
ran when I was in high school, of course.
Yeah.
Just like we all did. We started on the street,
Yeah.
right? You know, like that old brown truck there had a 4-speed. That's what I started
Oh
racing.
wow, I
on.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, it had a sag. Yeah, it was a 283 with the Saginaw 4-speed, and that 283 would get. Anyway, so long story short, right? So high school, that's what we did, street. And then when I got the taste of at the track was around 91 when I graduated, and then started running the track, and then, you know, that's what I like, because like I said before, that's when the street racing used to kick off. Now, granted, it was bracket, but it was street cars. It wasn't
Yeah,
like it was street
yeah.
cars, so it was, to me, I like that. And then I panned away from the street, but don't get me wrong, I used to go and watch. I enjoyed it. I just didn't
Yeah.
put my. I ran this once on the street a long time ago when I first built it, like in '95, like
Yeah.
once, and it was like, you know, it had a big tire, and those big tires, you get them things in that groove in them streets.
Nice over.
Yeah, it's like we don't need to be fucking with that. So, Yeah, them big tires didn't like them cruising in the streets.
You're
So.
like, do I got something loose? Is
Yeah, it's like
is my panhard moving? Because you're driving along and it's
yeah,
just
so
doing
you
this.
had a big tire in the Mustang.
Yeah,
probably.
it's just driving like this. You're like, no, this is regular.
That's the way it felt weird to me. I was like,
Yeah, because
something broke.
Yeah, it's chasing those.
Yeah, it's got the ruts in the
Because the
road.
street's not
and
flat.
them big tires, when you run like, you're
Yeah.
just running 10 or 12 pounds, maybe 8.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's a crazy feeling.
it's doing like, yeah.
And the first few times I felt that, I was like, oh, the panhard bar's loose for sure.
Yeah.
I know something's loose.
Yeah, I thought something broke, man.
cracked.
It broke. Yeah,
Right.
something broke.
Ain't nothing wrong. It's
I
just,
remember
it's just the
Yeah.
street.
I had a buddy of mine, we were at the track, and he was supposed to run another guy, but he's testing, right? So he's got these really hard slicks, man. I mean, they're like stiff walls from hell, right? And maybe it's because they were a little bit older, they got weathered, maybe they got harder on them.
Right, yeah.
So he starts off, 12, and and he runs like
Creeping the pressure down.
he spun 13-1. I said, dude, you need to get in 12. So we drop it a little bit more, 10. He goes back. Now he's 12. And I said, all right, man, let's come back down. I'm like, man, dude, all right, let's take it down to 9 and he 1280s. I'm like, dude, how much does this motor have? It can keep on. Eventually, you can knock those. And so when we got down to about 7.5, he says, okay, stop. We're not gonna go any lower. And he knew something about getting too much low PSI and. It scared him off. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're about to go like another, 0.3 of a second. And he's like, nah, I think I'm gonna stop right there. I don't trust these tires anymore. So
the big tires start rolling and
Yeah.
it starts feeling funny.
that's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
So basically, it's a no-no for
Yeah.
big
Well,
tires.
yeah.
But like I said, for like some DOTs are okay
Yeah.
because DOTs are stiff wall, like a stiff wall slick. But at the end of the day, like I said, the car's gonna like Donnie had his motor pulled back, so it had some transfer, so he probably liked it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I get down to, I know it's not great, 2.2 60 foot, or what was it? 1.4, I'm sorry.
1.4?
Damn.
2.2 was
Still good.
spinning,
That's
2.2
good.
was spinning, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, the 1.4.
Yeah,
that
1.4 was-
that's for for
Yeah, I could get it down to 1.4.
Yeah, most everybody was like, what, 1.7s?
yeah. I mean, when I first got it, 1.8, 1.7 DOT,
Yeah.
you get down to 150, 160, 140,
It's digging.
that's good.
It's
That was
digging
good
hard.
back in the day, in the 90s.
Yeah.
I did a no stall, just foot brake, drag radials, hot, 100-degree, 90 something late, high 90-degree weather in San Antonio, and I did a 2.0, and everybody's like, holy crap, you did a 2.0 with this no converter and just those tires, and that's when everybody started like second looking at them tires, like maybe they are worth getting, and I'm like, I don't know, we'll find out. I'm new to these shits anyway, but yeah, nobody was running 1.4s. Even like one of the fastest Mustang guys back then with the Vortec, I think he did like, I don't know, man, like a 1.5 or something like that, and then he missed. He had a Tremec back then when they were new, and he missed third gear so many times. That was his problem. But yeah, to go that low back then, that's damn.
So did you have any other car after that Mustang? Did anything come about? Did you?
I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
So basically, I try to lean towards the open of the universe and the possibilities of what the universe has to offer.
There you go.
But then there's that. But then there's also the part where your thoughts become action. Your action becomes your own existence.
There you go.
And your own existence, and the power of you have your. Man, this is really good.
No, man, you don't understand.
The power.
I like this
all right,
kind
all
of
right.
stuff.
The,
Yeah, it works.
The power of you creating your own reality, right?
Yeah.
So there's, you have the. Jeez. All right, you do have external things. Can happen. Bad things can
Yeah.
happen to people. Disease,
Yeah.
car accidents, all these. The e-by tiger. I don't fucking know. Right? Something. But you got these small things. They're not small things. That you outside of these things.
Right.
The 99% things, I think that most people create their own existence.
You do. I always thought that.
You have two parts of it.
Yeah.
You have one's your physical, where you say, hey, I want this bottle right here.
Yeah.
You have things that are in your physical reach and your physical that you can physically change. But the crazy thing, or the cool thing that I've kind of leaned towards is, what about the external? What about the universe at large? What about the things that you didn't have physical control over, or all of a sudden you're like, man, I got this idea, or we're talking about this, and out of the blue, John Doe calls and says, hey man, what's up? I was thinking about this, and you're like,
How did that work? Yeah.
How the
I was
fuck?
thinking about it, yeah.
This is crazy. 'Cause
Yeah,
how the hell did?
happens.
Right. What's crazy is I started leaning more towards that in the last couple of years, and it's been crazy. It's been life changing.
And here's what I want to ask you, because I wanted to know how the hell this was happening to you. Because believe me, the stuff you just said right now, I'll sit back. I'm the youngest of my family, but I also had a lot of time in my room to think about stuff, and so you kind of hit it on the nail there. When opportunities come, and you kind of start realizing that these opportunities come, and it's a coincidence, somehow, or sometimes it could be that you're just making them work for you, right? Or somehow, in some way,
You could say that, but what's crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I started doing is I started saying,
Yeah.
I'll ask the universe for something.
how did you make it to understand it?
Okay, I'll ask the universe at large for something,
Yeah,
well, just whatever it is.
yeah,
And then I let go of how it's coming back. So, and the way I vision this, I say, okay,
Yeah.
like if you're so set, it's like I'm standing in the middle of a million hallways. If I'm so set that it's going to come down this hallway,
Right.
it's going to look like this, it's going to sound like this,
Right.
I just know that's how this is going to happen for me.
yeah,
What I started doing, I said, you know what? I've been shorting myself this whole time. How about you keep your head on swivel? How about
around.
that's right. How about you and I'll get sarcastic with
Yeah.
it. I'll say, all right, universe, you're so vast, you're so
Yeah.
eternal, you're so unlimited. Let's see what you got.
everybody says your life is pre-recorded. You just kind of, and I'm like, well, damn, if mine was pre-recorded, how come the cool shit hasn't happened to me? I want one little section of this podcast.
I think that some of, and we could
yeah, we could.
We can talk about all this other stuff,
Maybe we'll
too.
open up another podcast
Right.
of the scientific of this.
but it's the openness to
Yeah.
the vastness, what the universe can offer, and
Yeah.
and if you're open to it,
Yeah.
in creating your own existence and creating your own boundaries, it's what you perceive as your world and what those boundaries are, and within that perception is what you're creating.
Yeah.
So think about a person that says, $100, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They never got $100, right? That is their perception and their perceived limitation
Right.
of financial
Exactly.
max,
Yeah.
right? And that's fine. And then you see other people, which I don't really know them, where they'll say, "Oh, it's just $500,000."
Donald Trump, right there.
Right, whatever.
That
Right.
dude seems to
So
think
then the
it's
money just-
chump change,
right, you
It's
know.
always there. It's bigger. It's
It-
bigger money.
right,
Yeah, you're
right.
right.
So-
So, with that understanding, so people can understand that what you were talking about.
Yep.
This is what I wanted, and we're gonna we'll go into that right now because it's pretty good, and then we're gonna go back into your the other cool shit that you had going on. But I kind of tend to think that type of thinking brought you a really cool package of success,
Yep.
and
Well, I was testing the waters.
well, let's talk about those buses.
All right.
Well, that's
So
that's yeah.
so
that's what we're
opportunity
about.
comes to you just the way it came,
that's
you know,
exactly-
from the left when you thought it was coming. You were looking at something on the right, you know.
Well, I gave up looking.
Yeah, and then it hits you, and now I see this bus, man. You started looking at buses, and fire engine. It was a
All of it.
huge.
All of it.
All of it hit you, and now you've got this huge inventory for movie theater,
Yep.
not movie but for movie
sets,
studio
production
sets, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, how much land does Donnie have? Where's he gonna hold all these things? And then you even gave a trivia. Hey, guess how many of these do I have? And nobody could guess it because you clearly had.
I didn't even know.
Yeah,
In fact, I didn't know until my friend. I was like, "Fine, I'll count." So we started counting.
Yeah.
15 buses.
wow. Is that
15.
including the fire engines and the
No,
cars,
that's just
the
buses.
police pursuit?
just buses.
Just buses.
So
man.
tell us what got you here
So-
where you're at now, and then like what
Alright.
First
what
one,
journey
and
did
then-
what journey
Yeah.
did you have
Yeah.
to take to get to where
who
you're at
knocked
now?
on your door and said, "Can you help me?" Did it come in that, or it was just an opportunity that you said, "I need to jump on it."
So all right. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a combination of a lot of things.
Yeah.
One is I'm super curious.
yeah,
I'm super obsessive. Okay. So my obsessive so I used to obsess about
and we'll
racing.
talk about the soft flats on that obsession too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
Wait, that's a good one
Yeah,
too.
but we got to stick to this bus thing.
Okay,
We
okay,
got to
alright,
talk
so-
about
so-
these buses.
So what I realized too is getting out. When I got out, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I used to think that I would grow up and be some other person. Right?
Yeah.
I know this sounds funny,
No.
but then I realized that that's bullshit. And how about I just be myself
Yeah.
and do it towards the good,
Yeah.
right? Just do it towards the good. You want to obsess about things? How about obsessing about being a good person? How about obsessing about helping your fellow man?
Right.
How about obsessing about, being
Don't
whatever.
be so materialistic about what you look like, your gold
Right.
chains.
No,
And, yeah.
right.
Right. Exactly.
It's just all stuff.
I know where it's coming from.
So what's weird is I realized that I'm good with patterns. Okay.
Okay.
And so I wanted this healthy outlet, and so I started doing government auctions. Okay. You
I've
know,
looked into those too, but yeah. go ahead.
Gov Deals, Gov Planet,
Mhm.
Public Surplus.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, right?
Wow.
So basically, anything that the government pays for initially,
Yep.
they have to sell through online auction,
They do.
right?
They do.
So that could be fire trucks, city workers,
Mhm.
Capital Metro, school buses, police cars, you name
Yeah.
it, right?
I saw that through actually a movie, and I thought it was bullshit. And then I looked at it myself, and then I realized, like, wow, if I just had a little bit of money,
That's
I
right.
could do something. Like,
That-
wow, because this was about guns. This
Yeah.
movie was about guns.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you.
It's
did
absolutely
that.
true.
It is true, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely. The one you're referring to is talking about where you get the government contracts, where they need certain things and then you supply those certain things. But this is more like the liquidation of the assets.
Right. Well, I saw it on the liquidation side
okay,
too.
okay, cool.
They're just chopped. You can put them together, but I don't know. I don't know
Oh yeah,
how
I
that
know.
works.
Yeah, I know what that one's.
Yeah.
I'm
But
sure.
I did always what you got into. So you got all these.
So I started obsessing about
Yeah.
my healthy obsession about
Yeah.
government auctions. Well, then I start seeing patterns in how people bid.
Yeah.
So there's a few parts of this. One is how people bid.
Mhm.
There's actually patterns. You watch these auctions, you're like, okay, the stuff's just getting sold.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not true. There's actually patterns.
There's patterns.
And I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So there's that part of it. The second part is you look at the documentation side of how are these assets written up, and then you got to visualize
Yeah.
who wrote this up, right? So you have the auction house on this side,
Yeah.
then you have the government worker on this side. Nothing wrong with government workers. I've been a government worker.
Yeah.
It's soul crushing because generally the people that are more social and kiss the boss's ass
Yeah.
generally get the merit raises. They move up. Not necessarily ones that are working hard.
Right.
In fact, it might even be discouraged.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe so. I think.
So, in reading the documentation, I look. This is the truth. I look for cut and paste. Okay.
Yeah.
I like cut and paste. Right. It's easy. You click on it. You put it over here, and it's like oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
You create right. But in a government document, when you
Yeah.
see cut and paste, and they're selling $500,000 $1 million assets, and they're cut and paste. Okay, that means they don't care.
Mm-mm.
Their supervisor doesn't care.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. They didn't make any money when they got
Mhm.
it. They didn't make any money when they sell it. Nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
So I look at that and I go, wow, that's depressing. But then I also go, man, I bet you they don't care.
Yeah.
So they'll sell it for anything. They don't care.
No.
So what I do is I'll go through these auctions and I'll buy these assets, right?
How many? Let me ask you a question. Seeing that you realize that, how many Humvees do you think are being just gobbled up by the open market when these things come up? Because obviously I've seen where
All the time.
I'm like $100 seriously, and just for fun I put a bid on it, but it was gone. So obviously I didn't have the strategy to buy this one at $100 bucks, but.
Sure.
I go to eBay. I'm like, oh man, really? 30,000 or 20,000? I'm like, man. I'm like, wow. But then you see another guy with all the transmissions and the tires. You know, it's like a huge resale,
Right.
and they're getting them from those things. But
That's
if
right.
I could have gotten those, at least maybe say $5 for $100. I don't know where I was gonna put them,
Right.
but if I could have gotten them all for $100 each, I mean,
There's still deals out there today. It's not too late. Like I've traveled over 13,000 miles this year.
Mm-hmm.
Flying.
You just got back from
who knows where.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know if you were gonna make it to the show. I'm like, man, this dude's gonna make it, or
Yeah, for
he's
sure.
somewhere. Yeah.
But I'll go anywhere in the United States
Yeah.
for the right deal. In other words, I don't care about, which is funny for me to say that, I don't care about the stuff. It's just
Yeah.
stuff. Houses, cars,
Yeah.
money. It's just stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well, what's kind of nice about having that attitude about it
Mm-hmm.
is it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So then you start saying, then the limitation part of it comes in. So, and also, of course, I'm applying that the whole time I'm saying this.
Yeah.
Like, people will say, if I get I'm going to have the kid, I guess I can't have that hot rod.
Yeah, once you
or,
yeah.
or, I can either do this or I can do that. It's like, will you listen to yourself? You're
Yeah.
making up the rules.
Right.
And now you just made that rule for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't F yourself like that. You can have both. It's
Yeah.
okay. The only problem is I take it too far and I go, I can actually have 5. If I'm making up the rules,
Yeah.
fuck, I can get 10, right?
Yeah.
If the universe is endless and boundless
Yeah.
and there's no limit, right?
Yeah.
I think I'll take 10.
Yeah. See, this is why I
and what's
wanted
funny-
to bring Donnie Dye, because
and
he's
what's
going to
it-
give us a spin.
And what's funny-
In
word
the
of wisdom.
automotive world, you were going to
Yeah.
get something that people don't
And
know.
what's funny
about.
is the
Listen.
universe.
Yep.
The universe,
Yeah.
in response, says, "Yeah, no problem." And I'll even joke to my friends. I'll say, "It doesn't matter. I'm not paying for it. The universe is paying for it."
Yep.
You know,
That's it. That's the way.
which is a funny way to look at
Yeah.
it. But in some ways, you become fearless because you're like, there's no limit to money. There's no shortage of money in the
Well,
world.
it's like investing. You're looking at the graph, and they just won 10,000. It's just it's going to go back up. Oh, we're losing 15, and then boom. Oh, I just made 5. Well, just let it ride. And you just if you don't think about it too much, like the way you're saying, eventually
Right.
you cash out when at the right time. But yeah, if you put too much, like you get nervous.
You can't. You've got to become the type of person that you're not worried about it, because you're gonna be the type of person that's gonna take care of it. You're gonna learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
You're gonna grow. And you're not gonna be hard on yourself, and it's gonna be okay. It's all a learning process. It's all fluid. It all moves. Money moves. Houses move. Relationships move. It all moves, and it's all okay.
You just got to be on the.
It's totally okay.
Yeah, you got to ride it to the end of your life, right?
All right, so back to buses.
Yeah.
So
So,
So,
yeah.
so I get all these buses,
Yeah.
right? And then you're like,
what is he doing with them?
What am I gonna do with these?
Yeah.
Right. What,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do with all these damn buses, right?
Yeah.
So one day, a friend of mine hits me up. He says, "Hey man, they're filming Fear the Walking Dead. HBO is downtown. The fire department got mad and they took their fire truck back." I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." He goes, "Yeah, you still got yours?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I got it."
Like hell yeah.
I said, "Yeah, go to my mom's, go get it." He's like, "All right, bet." He goes, "I'll give you money too." I said, "Even better." And and then I was like, "Oh shit." I could
just
rent.
awesome.
Yeah, I could rent these to movies. Here I am. I just like them. I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious about. I'm good at the pattern, and I'm good at finding like let's say the fire truck, for instance.
Yeah.
Those were $1 million each. That fire truck was, right.
Wow.
I bought 2 of them for $3,100 each.
Whoa.
Right. So and then I turned around. I traded that for another truck, and I sold that truck for $19,000. So that paid for that, right?
So you make
So you look at these last 2 buses that I went to Washington D.C. Those big 45-foot coaches.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the
I
big white
saw
ones,
one
right?
of them, yeah.
Those are probably $600,000 to $700,000 coaches each, right? Brand
Yeah.
new. I paid $4,400 for one and $4,500 for the other. So like on social media, it'll look like I'm like independently wealthy,
Yeah.
traveling the country, buying whatever I want, going here, going
The
there.
Grand Canyon, Vegas.
Wherever, who knows?
Donnie's everywhere.
Who knows where I'll be
You're like
tomorrow,
that dude
right?
that used to come out on these pictures back in the day.
Right. Who knows where,
Yeah.
right? But the reality is I search out these good deals,
Yeah.
and it pays for itself, you
Right.
know. And then with the movie aspect, I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool. I can be my quirky self. I can still obsess on these auctions, you know,
Yeah.
and like look at all these patterns and get all
Yeah.
excited, and buy stuff. But wow, now I can make money. So now I've kind of gotten to where like I'm focusing on having fun, right? And if I can make money having fun, that's
Yeah.
great. And if I don't make any money, well, I still had fun.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to have fun so bad
Yeah.
that I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You hand me this or these 2 things, I'm gonna say, okay, how can I? It's not about the money because I don't care about the money,
Yeah.
but how can I continue to have fun and make money with what I have?
Right. So how do you make time to work for your personal cars? Because you also got some really cool projects there that you're working on.
Jeez.
Stuff that you have an opportunity to build, and so you started building them. and obviously it's because of the strategy that you've got that not many people are willing to or people that actually don't even have the capability to understand it. But for those who do, those are the guys that you see most successful out there. And so that's why I kind of wanted to bring you on, because I wanted to hear your story on how you went from I'm making ends meet, I have a race car, I'm racing, I want to make some money. Oh, wrong way. I need to reinvent the wheel on myself, and you keep on building. So from the buses, you've got some really cool projects. You've got you had your I don't know how many Mustangs you were working on that were fastbacks. You were converting one. You've got the big Hemi that's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah.
You also have the motorcycle, the Red Indian that you recreated, and you took it to the Salt Flats, and it came out in magazines.
Yeah, one and two in the
Yeah,
world.
that was. I mean, if you ever see the movie, the Indian,
World's fastest Indian.
World's Fastest Indian, and then you did a tribute with a modern style bike.
Yeah, I fell in love with it, and
Yeah.
I at the time I was working with Danny Thompson with the Challenger 2 team.
Yeah.
This was in 2017. Indian was promoting the 50th anniversary of Burt Monroe's famous run,
Okay.
which World's Fastest Indian, that was Burt Monroe's movie about his life.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've seen it. Oh, it's great.
So Polaris, probably 8 years ago, bought Indian Motorcycle Company.
Right.
So Polaris wanted to show off how cool they are, how cool
Yeah.
their heritage is, you know. So they built this one-off motorcycle, and so in 2017 we were pitted across from them in the Challenger 2. We were trying to reach our own goals
Yeah.
as well, and I fell in love with the bike, and I saw it and I was like, I really want one.
Yeah.
And when I basically approached Indian or Polaris about it, I was like, hey, I was really excited, hey, is this going to be the future of Indian? Is this a prototype? What is this, They're like, no, this is just one, whatever. And basically they kind of like buzzed me away, like shoe fly kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it kind of rubbed me a little wrong. And I was like, okay, like, that's cool. I was like, all right, you know what? Man, this thing didn't come from Mars. Everything it took to build this bike came from right here.
Yeah.
I want one. I'm going to build one. So I started my obsessing,
Yeah.
my healthy outlets.
Yeah.
So I took the bike and basically, I took it a piece at a time, because the whole thing is overwhelming,
Yeah. Well, it's nice.
So instead you just go one thing. No, I'm just going to order a peg. I'm just going to order I just need to order a wheel. I just need a tire. I just need I just need the whole bike.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole bike.
Yeah.
But what was funny is in the end, Indian did end up taking that bike to
It
the factory.
recognized you.
They
Yes.
did. They took it to the factory. They put the old team that did the original bike painted my bike at the factory.
Nice.
So it became 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I knew, I'm like, this dude, man, I remember this dude with the blower. I said, he's doing stuff that I can't do. I mean, I would like to. I don't know how he did it, but obviously he's having a lot of fun.
But it was the openness
Yeah.
of not. It's exactly what I said earlier. Where
Yeah.
It was the openness. I wasn't looking down one hallway.
No, it's.
I didn't say, oh man, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know this is. Man, I see exactly how this is going to go.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know what's going to go.
Yeah.
Let's just see what can happen.
That's cool.
I always joke and say it's like a Forrest Gump moment.
Yeah.
That really
It's like a
was.
part in
Yeah.
history, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you like pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that whoever listens to this and it's listening and I know most people will look at it like, nah, it's another one of those stories where the guy comes up and from here, but then when you see success, well, not too many can obtain it. So when you hear somebody's story like this and you see the struggles of life, and then you realize it's the same guy you've known, buddy. And now he's telling you the story of the success that he has accomplished at his own pace, at his own level, where he's comfortable at. That motorcycle, I mean, I watched the movie, and then I'm like, what's Donnie doing with this retro bike? Why is he with Danny Thompson? What magazines did this bike get recognition for back then? When I saw you post at the Salt Flats, didn't it go through a magazine or some kind of? It did something. It did some publishing photos.
Yeah. They did a few different things. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. It'll come back to me.
Well, you didn't race it. I know that. Right?
No, what happened? See, what happened was the bike got done, and once it was done, it was too nice.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, damn it, this is really nice. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'd switched some things from the original bike that I wanted a little different. You know, they're so subtle that the guy that painted both of them sent me a picture. And he says, "Hey, is this your bike or the original bike?" That's how. That's
Didn't know
how.
the difference.
Right, he couldn't tell the difference.
Wow.
He had to ask me, "Is this your bike or the other bike?" Yeah, it will never be a record holder, right? Even it just wouldn't be, you know. So I'm like, am I going to get out there, tear this bike up? If I crash it, it's 1 and 2 in the world.
Yeah.
Then what? You know. So I did want it to have some racing heritage.
Yeah.
You know, I did take it to Bonneville, but you know, I wasn't a record holder. I wasn't, you know.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? It can be appreciated for just the beautiful bike it is. You know, go take it to bike shows, go do that kind of thing. You know.
So when you started hanging out, tell us, how did you run into Danny Thompson? You know, this is
Yeah, I
the
can
son
tell you.
of Mickey Thompson.
Yep.
Mickey Thompson tires that everybody goes drag racing with, even till now. I mean,
Right.
how many guys burn? How many tires testing? You actually get to meet the son. You actually get to shake his hand.
Right, become good friends with the family. Ended up becoming good friends with Burt Monroe's family.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's,
So I'll tell you the story.
yeah, tell me the story, man. What
So-
did you do?
So I'd heard the story about Danny Thompson wanting to run the Challenger 2 in memory of his dad. His dad was murdered by a business partner.
Yes.
What was in the late 80s, I think it was.
80s or early 90s, something like that. I
somewhere-
remember the article.
Yeah, somewhere in there. So here's Danny building this car to bring the land speed record back to the Thompson name, and I just thought, man, that's really awesome of Danny. You know, like it can't be an easy road. It's, you know, like what he's trying to accomplish is wild. You know, because you think history, you think all the cool stuff in the past happened, and you know now you're just here you're living in this time.
Right.
Hey man, it's not true. History happens today. It
Yeah.
happens tomorrow, and you can be a part of it.
Right.
And it's all out there for everybody. You know, people are just people,
Mhm.
and if you want to be in the mix and that's what you want to do, it's out there
You
for
gotta
you.
go reach it.
It's out there for you too. You know, so I you know that people always talk that shit about. Hey, you want to meet? If you could meet one of your heroes, alive or dead, who would you want to meet? This and that. I always talk that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I know who I want to meet. I want to meet Danny Thompson, right? So at the time, Holly Martin was the photographer for the team,
Yeah.
and she had posted on Facebook that she was charging like $350 an hour to take photos with race teams or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, man, that's a good deal.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
$350, man. You got to print the photo. That's a good deal, you know.
Yeah.
So I hit her up. I was like, "Hey, can you take a picture of me and Danny and the team, right?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem." I said, "Man, great." So I told my wife, I said, "Hey, I want to go meet Danny Thompson. He's gonna be out at Bonneville Salt Flats. I'd never even been to the Salt Flats at that time." And I was like, "I want to go meet Danny Thompson." And my wife's real funny. She's real supportive.
Yeah.
She's funny, dude. She's like, "All right, you want to be there in the morning, in the afternoon? What time you want to get there?" I said, "Well, I want to get there in the morning, whatever."
Yeah.
She's like, "All right, okay." So when I left, my wife's like, "All right." It's like I don't know, a week or two later, I left. She's like, "Have fun chasing your dreams." I was like, "All right, I'll see you later."
Yeah.
And I flew to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You know, it's only 4 hours. Got a rental, drove out to the Bonneville Salt Flats. So I get
Yeah.
out there, right? I've never been to Bonneville, right? I don't
Right.
know.
I'm still waiting to touch that stuff.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I was there like
You take the rental's full of salt.
Yeah, exactly. I was there 3 weeks ago. I went back.
Yeah,
you
I thought I
me
saw
there.
you, yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Anyway, so I get to the little cafe, and I don't even know I don't really even know where it's at, right? And I'm at the cafe,
Yeah.
and some guy in a construction vest. For some reason, for a second, I thought he was an official, and he knew exactly what was going on. Like,
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, what? You're crazy. This dude's a construction guy. He doesn't know shit about much, you know. So I was like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't embarrass myself, you know. So I was like, all right. So I just follow the signs. I go out. So I go out there, and the officials, they're at the gate, not the gate,
Yeah.
but the end of the road
Right.
before you go out there. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. All the history that's been
Yeah.
here. This is great. This is amazing. I'm like starstruck of the place, And she's like,
Does it look anything like what Hot Rod Magazine always takes a photo? I mean, can you physically say, I'm here, or is it like, is it hard to focus on the cars, or are they scattered all over the place? Is it like a drag strip?
No.
When you
No.
like San Antonio, it's
no,
it's not
because
like
the course
that,
can
right?
be 10 miles long. 10 miles.
Yeah.
Dude, think how far 10 miles is from the starting line to the finish, or not the finish, but the
end of the
end of it.
marker.
Right. It can be 8 miles. It can be longer depending on what right. So it's real spread out. But when you're there and you get familiar with
Is it a gate, or you just kind of drive in and you're like, oh, I'm here? What's it like?
So when you
It's
pull
bright.
in,
It's bright now.
yeah, it's super bright. So you pull in,
Yeah.
and it's paved, and it's called the end of the road,
Mhm.
and then after that it's on the salt. But they guide you, say to the pits, to the area,
Yeah.
it's all marked off, and they'll guide you. So I got there, and I was like, she's like, what are you here for? I was just like, Danny Thompson. Like, I didn't know what to say, right? And
Spectator or
because I was nervous and stuff, I thought she
Yeah.
was gonna tell me get out of here or something. I don't know
Yeah.
what she was gonna tell me.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I was nervous, and she goes, Danny Thompson. I was like, yeah, Danny Thompson. She's like, all right, see that dot right over there?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah. She goes, that's them. I said, oh, okay, thanks.
Couple miles down the road,
Right, I drove out there.
So do you just drive in a straight line, or do you have to like
Right,
curve
no,
around?
it's just straight line. It's open, It's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Well, I
moon.
mean, I'm thinking like,
It's like
is
the
there-
surface
are
of the
they gonna
moon or
hit you at any
something.
minute? Yeah.
No, it's just
Wow.
open, right? So it's just like the dot gets closer and closer.
And to believe that gets flooded sometimes.
Yeah, it was flooded through.
Yeah,
3 weeks ago.
I seen that.
Well,
That's
it
pretty
floods
nasty,
easy
yeah.
because
Yeah.
if it rains a little bit, it's all level. So a little bit of rain, it's
okay.
this deep,
Yeah.
but it's this deep
Level.
for miles.
Okay.
Because it's all level.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, so and depending which way the wind's blowing, it
Yeah.
can blow the water over.
So there's a mirage. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you get
So I
driving.
get so I drive over there, and then anyway, Holly Martin, she does introduce me. What was funny is I'm a huge fan, right? I'm like, so I had the same shirt on that they had on, but mine didn't say crew. And so I was like, so I just kind of like
Blended in.
walked to like, hey, they won't notice that I'm here. I don't fucking like. But you got to remember these are people that work with Mickey, right? And it's their sons. And it's you're not gonna walk. Hey, I'm Donnie from Texas. They'd be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Beat it, kid. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Holly, she spoke up and she's like, look, Donnie's gonna be here for 2 days. Whatever you guys need, just feel free to ask him. Of course, they're looking at me like, hey, I don't give a fuck. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm really good at following direction.
Yeah.
Like I'll go out there and I'll move chairs. I'll sweep. It's not complicated. You do what they tell you, then you ask the leader what's next.
Yeah.
Hey, what else do you got to do? I'll do that for days on end. I don't care, So, and the other unfortunate part of Bonneville is that generally about a person, depending what the team is, like on our team, we generally, it could be a year or so you lose a person. It's kind of like it's kind of a older guy thing, because health reasons.
It's up in age already. Yeah.
You're already up in age, right? To do that, just do those kind of ventures, it's kind of for the most part the individual that their kids have moved out, they got some extra money, they got the time, you know what I mean? So unfortunately, okay, so I worked with him for 2 days, right?
Right.
Then a few months went by. The guy that I was shadowing, unfortunately, he passed away from cancer. So then Danny's wife, Valerie, she called me.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, what are you doing for Speed Week next year? I said, well, I was gonna fly to Salt Lake City. I was gonna get a rental car and I was gonna sleep in the parking lot. And if you guys needed help, I was gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
She's like, how about you can officially join the team.
Nice.
We can't pay you, but we'll provide food and a nice hotel room. What do you say? I was like, well, that's a lot better than what I was going to do.
Yeah, really.
So that's how I ended up joining.
That's how you ended up.
Oh,
Wow.
cool.
And then and I'm seeing the photos, and you're just like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
I got photos and
Yeah, that's great.
that's just that.
And in
just,
2018 we did it. Yeah.
damn.
Wow.
Yeah, became the fastest wheel-driven, naturally aspirated vehicle.
And so, do you go back every year now with them to?
Right.
just
Yeah, that's what this
support
tattoo.
team?
This is here, the 448. That's our record.
Oh,
There it
small
is.
power.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
We
Wow.
got one of my bucket lists was getting Hot Rod magazine,
Yeah.
so that we got in Hot Rod magazine with that. Got Smithsonian, got in the Hall of Fame in California.
Yeah.
So a lot of good things happened from that, you know.
You know, I wanted to inject this at one point in that
Sure.
story. That car in the 1950s, late 50s, when they were putting it together, there was a drag racer here that had set the fastest mile per hour in ET in dragster, front engine dragsters. And so he did it with the Pontiac motor and a blower, and so he sets all the records. But back then, nobody had an intake for a Pontiac to put a blower on it. So he built, the sand, whatever, the casting, whatever, to make it.
Yeah.
And his name was, I believe, I can't say his last name, Chattignier or something like that. Anyway, he sets the records, and then the whole NHRA rule book comes out and completely cleans out the old records, and it becomes Daddy Don Garnett's, like right after a year afterwards. But this guy set the record, going over 200 miles an hour, and Mickey Thompson buys that setup, and he runs it on that car. And so the blowers that were bolted with that intake was all because of this one guy here in Texas who designed a part of that structure to that car.
So the original one was Challenger 1.
Yeah.
So Challenger 1 originally he ran it with the
Stronger.
four Pontiac
Four
engines.
Pontiac engines, yeah.
But he couldn't get enough speed. So he came back. Then they added the superchargers to the Pontiacs. The Challenger one's currently at the in Florida. What's that museum? Anyway, it's in a museum in Florida.
Right.
I did a video on it on my YouTube channel because they gave me access behind the thing. I mean, I got another car.
How do we find you on YouTube? Give us your YouTube so we can.
It's just Donnie Dye, Donnie, and last name Dye. So
There you go.
I started posting videos for my daughter.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing all this stuff, that's
Yeah.
pretty.
Oh, it's stuff that
pretty
people
worldwide
wish they
stuff.
could do.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I made it under the format of like my 7-year-old daughter. She calls it Daddy TV.
Mhm.
So she'll
Gotcha.
watch it when I'm out of town, but it's me just making videos about
Oh.
actually the cool things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's really geared towards my daughter, so it's
Oh,
all
she sees
it's all
it.
kid friendly. It's all, you know what I mean.
Gotcha. That's good. Yeah.
So
Still got good information on it, so you can still.
but the Challenger one, they have the superchargers. Those engines, I don't know if the superchargers are, but I think they are. They're in Oklahoma in a museum there.
Wow.
There's a guy, so I've been to that museum. He bought an old schoolhouse, so it's the small. Is it Hijack Racing?
Mhm.
I think that's the name of it. Super nice guys. But he has a museum there, and that's where those engines are at now, and the supercharged are at.
So he's got something completely different now that he's running something newer.
Right,
'Cause, I
so-
mean, he invented Hemi heads too.
So that was the Challenger.
Yeah.
That was the Challenger 1. Okay.
Okay.
The
Oh, got it. Okay.
The Challenger 2 used to be called the Autolite Special, and it was built in 1968.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at the time, Nicky was going to bring the land speed racing record back to the Thompson name back in the late 60s because he wanted another go at it.
Yeah.
But OPEC and all that happened, so all their
Wow.
sponsorship pulled out. The car got shelved for all those years. The big thing about Mickey, so Mickey always forbid Danny to race. But if you think about from Mickey's perspective,
Yeah.
the infancy of safety and all that stuff, dude, people were getting killed left
Oh,
and
yeah.
right.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about. I mean,
It was dangerous.
Shows your tattoo.
Yeah, 448.
448 miles an hour. Do you see that in drag racing today? I mean, you're lucky if you're over
They're
200
320.
now.
They're 330.
Well, I'm talking about what we
Well,
do.
yeah.
Well, not me, but you.
Well, I mean, of course,
everybody else,
but entry, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
entry level guys today, if they want to do something, you have to be able to go that type of mile an hour on the soft flats. How many people are willing to do something like that on a say a '78 Camaro that's got those?
But the
moons?
thing, like when you think about it, back
Yeah.
in the '60s,
That was even
'70s,
crazier.
like I said, yeah, the safety was like, It was tight, but not like how it is today. But
Not like it how it is today.
yeah, not how it is today.
So-
but
so
but
Mickey-
safety back then was like, whoa.
So Mickey would never let Danny
Yeah,
run
yeah.
anything. So it was a big deal whenever Mickey came to Danny to say, "Hey, let's build this car. Let's bring this back to the Thompson name." You know, right before he got killed,
Yeah.
before
Right.
Mickey got killed, it was a big deal. You know. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it was really
So
great.
did he drive it? Did he actually drive it this time around?
Danny
He
did.
actually did?
Yeah, Danny was he was the pilot the whole time. So
Nice. And how old is he now?
I think Danny's 70. I think.
So he's not a little kid either. He's up
No,
there.
he's getting up there.
I wonder how-
But he's still
Hard. Yeah.
he's hardcore.
Yeah.
He's awesome, man.
So do they pull G's or they start gradually?
Gradually.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
Now-
They
now-
get a running start. They go like a couple miles and then they do a timer like every 2 miles. or
Yeah, so
something.
basically what they'll do is, generally you're talking about the long course.
Mhm.
So they'll have, so now they floor it, you're on these narrow tires, right? You
Yeah.
know, and they're all-wheel drive. It'll leave black marks. You know, it'll leave the spin out marks on the salt. But so basically, they build up the speed. It can be, someone explained it to me, but basically they have a measured mile. Say they enter the measured mile at 400 miles an hour, they exit the
It's an average.
the
right?
measured mile, right,
Yeah.
at say 450, right? So the average, now your average for that run would be 425 miles an hour.
Yeah, the average.
So then that means that either you qualify for a record or you didn't.
Got it.
If you qualify for a record, now you need to go to impound. So they get you to impound, then the next day you run again. The same thing, the same rules apply when you enter into the flying mile
Mhm.
and your exit speed. The average of those two, right? Then you get that number, and then you average from your first day and your second day, and that's your record. And hopefully it does make a record, but that's your official time.
Hopefully, yeah, it's higher.
So it's a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always liked, reading that stuff through the magazines because for some people they'd be like, man, what is Tall Flats got to do with these drag cars? And the fact is that there was guys from here, from Austin, that were going out there to Bonneville and racing not only in the quarter mile, but they take their cars and go out there and either they're going to spectate or they were going to actually make a pass and say they did it, because in California, that's where a lot of the drag racing was going on, and then the Salt Flats. So you have Gene Winfield and all these guys that go out there. They've been doing it forever. How old is Gene Winfield? Like in his 90s or late 80s, something like that.
Somewhere in there,
And I don't know when's the last time he's gone up there, but I think it's been recent, within the last 10 years, 5 years, he's been there, because it's a thing for them to look forward to, and I think it's a sport that it hasn't lost its edge, but it's lost its edge with the younger crowd.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about, hey, I think I want to go over there and stop at that little restaurant you stopped at. How long's that restaurant been there? It's probably been there, what?
Salt
Yeah.
Flat Cafe,
Yeah.
been there a long
Been a
time.
long
Yeah,
time,
they
probably.
don't close because it's a tradition thing for you
Right.
to go in there.
The
and-
ones that get into it are the ones that have been raised around it.
Yeah.
Their grandfathers, their fathers, they've done it, so they got that generation maybe.
Yeah.
But like I said, the new, the
Yeah.
non individuals that are in
Yeah.
that sport, yeah, it's kind
And I hope
of. I wouldn't
that's-
say long forgotten, but
Yeah.
it's still.
I just hope it never.
it's still
I hope
there.
it never dies out. I hope
Yeah.
somebody like you and others, they recognize it, or even the younger crowd, they recognize it and say, "Oh, I can't wait for this year to drive up there and go check it out." Because nobody's thinking that no more. It's another part of our car world heritage that a lot of people have forgotten about.
They have, but there are a lot of new upcoming people. There are a lot of young people when you go.
Over there,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot
Yeah.
of older guys too, but there are a lot of younger people
It's still.
that are into it. And there's still records to be broke. There's still history to be made. It's exciting. You'd asked earlier about, we'd started talking about it, where basically after working with Danny Thompson, kind of where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Well, once you're in that circle, or once you're in that arena,
Mhm.
then Danny ended up selling the car to help pay for getting to where he got.
Yeah.
You got to pay for that stuff. It's not cheap.
Yeah.
So once that happened, then other teams were like, "Hey, what are you doing next year?" I was like, "Well, man, I don't have any plans." Like, well, do you want to come work with our team?
Yeah.
We'll give you the same deal. We'll put you in a room. We'll pay for your meals. You help us reach our goals. And I'm, because of my obsessive nature, man, I'll sleep 2 hours. I'll work on that car all day, whatever it needs, whatever it
Yeah.
takes. all I care about is that car.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it takes to
That's what it is.
to succeed in that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's funny, being that type of person, as long as it's in healthy ways, man, it works out great. You know?
And you know, there's only one movie out there that I remember. It was on VHS.
Yeah, there's an old movie out there.
Was it Need for Speed or Need to Speed? I don't know what it was called. And it was the guy from the Titanic, the actor from the Titanic. And that's been like the only movie out there. I mean, there's that Fast and Furious stuff. There's, you know, all kinds of drag race stuff. But that one movie was just that one and only. It was a really good movie if you watch it, because it gives you exactly what you're describing, you know. And then you're like, damn, this dude's going, you know, X amount of miles an hour. But I haven't seen another cool movie. I wish somebody would make another movie about, you know, the Salt Flats, you know, drag race, something like that.
There is stuff out there.
You gotta look for it.
I think
but
more
it's there.
documentary style.
Yeah.
More, you know, that type of
Yeah.
Netflix kind of style. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that is interesting that you actually got into that.
Yeah, you got to go sometime, man.
Yeah. So you just make room for it throughout the year, and you just head out. How long do you usually spend time out there?
It just depends what's going on. It can be a week, it can be 2 days, it can be 3 days.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I've even flown out in the morning, go do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the owner of Bombshell Betty, his name's Don Cash.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, there's gonna be a B-29 over by Bonneville Salt Flats.
Nice.
What do you think about that? I was like, man, I think that's awesome. I'll be there. And so we ended up. I flew in that morning.
Yeah.
This was, I don't know, and those videos on the YouTube channel too. This was probably about 3 months ago, I guess. Flew in the morning. He picked me up at the airport. We went out. We got on the B-29. We flew on the B-29.
Nice. Did you get photos of that?
Yeah, I did video of it.
Oh,
Yeah, you saw the YouTube. It's good. It's good, man.
I'm telling you, man. Guys, you're listening to Donnie. He is not the regular Donnie, man. For a long time ago, he's got a lot of cool stuff, man.
Then flew back, and,
Yeah.
and you know, we're there, and I'm telling Don, I was like, all right, Don, you know, Don's an awesome dude, man.
Yeah.
I said, you gonna fly on that plane, Don? He's like, well, I thought about it. Don's 70,
Yeah.
I think. I thought about it, but you know those people in Croatia, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like a bad person for saying that. He's like, I donated it to the cause.
Oh.
My money for my seat,
Yeah.
I donated to the
okay.
church and donated to that. Of course, my first thought, I'm such a cynical person sometimes. Like, all right, how much money is going to those people?
Yeah.
That's my first question. If I'm going to donate to charity, I need to know the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So normally I'll give to someone who I like. I'll give, like, I know you need the money. Here you go.
Yeah.
I know you got the money. It wasn't some organization scam. Not that he got scammed. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
Yeah.
but it's like, oh man, that's, you know, I don't say all that to Don because
No.
Don's awesome and it made me a jerk. Instead, I just go, oh, okay, man, that's real nice of you, you know. But I'm thinking, yeah, my friend probably got. Anyway.
Yeah, kind of like the guy on, like at the bridge that you know he wants a handout, but he's got some Jordans. You know, I'm like, what? Man, does anybody know those shoes?
Right. So we got to the plane and I'm sitting there listening to these people, you know. And Don's, it's like, so what's your plan, Don? Oh, we're just gonna watch the plane come in and go out. I'm like, hell no, I want to ride on that thing, man.
Yeah.
We came all the way here anyway. So I ended up getting him a flight. And getting me a flight, and it was the last 2 seats, the last flight for that day. I was like,
How long was the flight?
About 45 minutes.
That's still good.
It's a good flight. You know, nice.
Are they loud? Are they really loud in there? Can you feel everything?
Not that bad.
No.
Those engines are powerful for real.
So it was like.
And you're sitting in that plane and you're watching those, right? You're watching these cables moving.
Yeah. Oh, seriously.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Those are the controls.
This is crazy. Right.
Shit.
I'm like, this is crazy, you know. They got the spotters watching the engines, make sure they're not catching on fire.
Yeah.
Because one did catch on fire in Texas.
I know.
It was coming up, and then something happened. It started catching on fire, and then they landed the damn thing, and I'm like, well, there goes history. It's like it's gone. Yeah.
Right. So, that's crazy. It was good. It was good.
So you're doing some pretty cool shit, man. Obviously, when you come back here though, tell me a story about you being a bus driver in a movie.
Right.
Somebody told you
Yeah.
you need a prison bus.
First, so when you go buy these movies out of state, how do you get them back?
All right, so
Oh yeah.
How do you get them back?
So obviously you've had some incidents where you broke down.
that's right. So I came up with a solution, right? So all right, so you do the best you can, right? You buy certain your buses, certain engines, certain whatever, right? And like I said, I go anywhere, right? Well, I was losing 1 out of 4 buses, right? When I say lose, I'll drive a mile, damn it, stalls out. I'm like, oh man.
But the plan is to drive it back to Texas.
The plan is to drive it back to Texas.
And he stalls out, not even a mile out.
But a mile from wherever.
Yeah.
Wherever, right?
One you had a fuel pump, right? One of the first ones, the fuel pump went.
Something went out. Yeah, it clogged up or something happened, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Give me a lift. I'm going back to the airport. Deuces. I'm not fixing this bus, right? It's not even in my name.
No.
They can't
Still
even,
not in your name.
what do I care? You know, they'll tow it. What do I care, right? It's $1,000 to $3,000 generally were about at the time when I was paying for them, and by the time you tow it, it's $1,000. By the time you get repaired, what I'm gonna have $10,000 on it because I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Who gives a F that bus, right?
It's gone.
Right.
Go get another one.
Right, deuces.
Yeah.
I'm flying home. I don't give a fuck. Right?
Send it.
Right, because the money's already. It doesn't. You can't get caught up into it. You can't get attached to it.
Yeah.
You can't. It doesn't matter. Like you'll just go buy another one, right? It's not a big deal. And you can't get, like, I don't get caught up on like problems. I know this sounds funny. I won't give any energy to it. It's like, what's the solution?
And trust me, I'm actually learning something today.
What's the solution?
Yeah.
All right, this happened.
Yeah.
What's the solution? What's the move forward plan? If you're going to use any of your energy, that's what it better be too. It's not a problem. What's the solution?
Right.
If you want to talk about something, we'll talk about the solution. In my head, if I hear myself, my dialogue say, man, I can't.
Yeah, that's darn.
And then I'm like
speaking into
I was, it's like, okay, fuck the I can'ts. How about let's start.
Do what you gotta do.
You want to think about something? How about what you can? What can you do? Oh, I can do this. I can do that. I can
leave it right here. Bye.
Right.
I don't want that shit.
So I got to thinking. I was like, I need an inside dude. That's what I need. I need an inside dude. I kept thinking, I need an inside dude. But you can't get an inside dude all over the United States, right? Yeah. So I was like, all right, so let's picture what's going on. The auction house, they don't give a fuck.
No.
The government worker,
nope.
Yeah.
They're real disconnected too. They don't give a fuck. I need an inside dude. How am I going to get an inside dude? I said, all right, I know I'm going to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to satellite map. And let's say Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm going to satellite it, and I'm going to start looking around on my phone, right?
Yeah.
Or my computer.
Yeah.
It's my phone. But so I'll just zoom in, right? You get closer. Boom. Buses look like little Tic Tacs from satellite. So I drop all the way down. I get street level. I get the phone number. Hi, this is Donnie from Texas. And if of course, I'm like a chameleon in some ways. Like I start talking like Kentucky talk, or because I grew up East Side.
Yep.
So I understand all these different dialects. My dad was Cajun. I had to translate for my dad, even though he spoke English. So I grew up with Hispanic, Black, Cajun. So automatically digress to whatever.
It happens naturally.
Right. So hey, this is Don, and I like saying this is Donnie from Texas because it's so stupid, but it makes me laugh when I say it. So and they remember you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, Donnie from Texas. Who the fuck are you? But they
Donnie
remember.
From Texas.
Right. Anyway, like it's a small town, right? Anyway, hey, this is Donnie from Texas. I was calling about bus number 63 and 64. What can you tell me about that bus or those buses? And these guys are unfiltered. They don't give a fuck. Hey, that's a piece of shit. I hate that bus.
That's good.
All right. Hey, that's a good bus.
Yeah.
Since I started doing that, I've never broke
Your
down.
rate's gotten
You've
better.
actually got one. Now tell me
I've
about
gotten everyone home.
Tell me about the one with the busted up axle or some shit. You were underneath it. You had some. Man, I don't know what kind of jack you had to lift that thing. What the hell went on? That's not too long ago. What happened there? You obviously got caught in that one. Why?
I got it home though. No, it's home.
It's because it got home. Okay.
It's home.
Yeah.
So all right. So
that was a Greyhound. What kind of bus? Describe it for us because we're on the podcast here.
Yeah. So I want to back up just a little bit on this. It is to this story. 4 or 5 months ago. This guy's a scout, right? He scouts to find vehicles for movie sets, right? And he's about 70 years old.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. I'm just talking to him. What's going on? He looks at me. He goes, "I like you." Like out of the blue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay.
"I like you too." He goes, "I got a secret I want to tell you."
Oh.
I'm like, "Hey, I'm married, man. Like, what's?" I didn't say that out loud.
I have
but
blue hair.
Right, I'm thinking like, man, what's this dude about to hit me with? You know, we're out in the country all by ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
And he says, there's a shortage of prison buses, and if you get one, it's gold.
Oh wow.
And I was like,
That's a secret,
I said,
boy.
I said,
Boom.
bet, I'm already on it, dude. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy, right?
Damn.
And so, all right, so 2 minutes.
Put up the fire truck.
So 2 months later, he calls me on.
Yeah.
He calls. He's like, "Hey, Donnie, what's going on?" I said, "Man, nothing." He says, "Remember we had that conversation 2 months ago?" I'm like, thinking, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I remember."
Yeah.
It freaked me out. Anyway, I said, "Yeah, man." He goes, "So how's that going?" I said, "Man, it's going great."
Yeah.
I said, "In fact, I got 2 of them. I'm driving one right now back from Florida."
Oh.
He's like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "You got any pictures?" I was like, "You damn right I do."
Yeah.
And so I sent him pictures anyway.
Yeah. Which one was that? Was that the white one?
So that was the one that was well, they're all
You had like this
they're all white.
I
short.
was saying,
You had
all
like
white.
this short 49 Merc looking. I mean,
I
was
know
like,
which one you're
man,
talking
what
about. I know
the
which one
frick
you're
is
talking
that, man.
No, this one was
Top.
this one
Bears,
was one that it was out of Florida.
Yeah.
Anyway, HBO
Yeah.
signed the contract 2 days later for that bus. I paid
Yeah.
$4,800 for it. They signed the contract for $6,500, so it's paid for. Then 2 days later, they called me. They said, "Hey, do you care if we paint that bus?" I'm like, "What color?" I said, "The same color, everything." So they paint the whole bus. You know, that's 8,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
New
Yeah.
decals.
Wow.
So that comes out in Love and Death, HBO in November.
I've seen
Which one's that one? What
Uh,
movie?
Love and Death
Love
is
and
a
Death,
series.
Where are they building? Where are they filming that up north or Waco or where?
It was I want to say it was Pflugerville or out in this area, somewhere out here.
Yeah. Well, I know that they had some cars somewhere in Kyle locked up in some facility.
It
It's like it takes place in a 70s setting or 80s setting or
I'm
something.
not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't seen it.
It's some
I haven't seen
weird
the series.
shit. I know because there's several people that are popping up saying, "Oh man, they're filming a movie," and they'll
Yeah, they
drive
film
by,
all over the place,
and you'll
yeah.
see a Pinto, you'll see
Oh,
a
yeah.
like a Granada.
Yeah, they were scouting for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up. It turns out that they're having to truck in prison buses from out of state.
Mm.
So there were none in Texas.
That's in
so,
Texas, huh?
So currently, I am the only person in
Donnie
Texas.
from Texas.
Yeah.
That's right. Donnie from Texas has prison buses.
Call Donnie from
That's right.
Texas.
So-
he can facilitate.
So because because of my prison history,
Oh, shit.
and I've ridden on those buses.
Gangster.
I've ridden on those buses.
Yeah.
I've ridden Con Air, right? The real Con Air. There is
Oh,
a
shit.
real Con Air.
I was gonna say there's a real one.
Yeah, people don't realize that. They think it's just some
Yeah.
movie, but no, there's really a Con Air. Anyway, so
Is there really a crazy guy in there?
it's pretty
John
off the
Malkovich.
hook. Like when you get on there,
Yeah.
the guards are like
Like the
sit
US
down,
Marshals movie.
shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
look forward, and don't say a fucking word.
Damn.
And you're like,
Okay.
okay,
I might get shot.
right. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's
Anyway,
not a John Malkovich.
and that flies
on
right
there.
out of Austin Bergstrom.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, on the South Terminal. So
Nice.
so yeah, that's what. And it is like the movies where they surround it with the shotgun and the AR-15. all
Yeah,
the
of
fucking-
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real. Anyway, so back to the prison buses.
Yeah.
You're talking about with the axle.
Yeah.
So, okay. So when you in the commission of your crime, if you cross if you cross the state line in the commission of your crime,
Mhm.
you do it on federal property. It's a federally insured business.
Yeah.
There's other criterias, but people think like when you get arrested, you just go to jail, right? It's not true. You either now a state crime is basically
Prerequisites.
it's kind of like local, right?
Yeah.
Right. A local crime. You know, you steal lawnmowers, you're hitting old ladies over the head, whatever. Those crimes are going to be generally state crimes.
Yeah.
So once those are two separate entities, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, if you're making a movie about a federal crime,
Yeah.
MCI, which is Motor Coach Industries,
Mm-hmm.
has a contract with the federal government to build, like you think of a Greyhound, like an
Yeah.
MCI, factory police buses, right?
Wow.
And so if it's a federal prison, you're going to ride a federal bus, which is an MCI big bus, right? So I was like, okay, I got to get one of those for sure, because if it's that kind of movie, you got to have the right bus. Because if you're into that,
Somebody's gonna catch
if
it.
you're in the know,
Yeah,
they're not gonna be riding.
See, I'm
it.
real big into bicycles, so if I see a stupid bike that doesn't match the 80s or the
Period.
70s,
Right.
man, I hate this
Right,
show.
right. The people,
You know?
right.
Yeah.
The people that know, they know, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, it was emotional. Now, so obviously I've ridden in the back, belly chain, the orange
Yeah.
jumpsuit, all that crap. I hate that crap. Anyway, it's annoying, right?
Yeah.
Who likes it? You're not supposed to like it. Anyway, you know how awesome it was 10, 11 years later to get in the driver's seat, look at
And
the
to drive in the
look
back.
at the look back at the prison, and turn around and fucking hit the gas, and you're driving the bus, man.
Now I'm playing the part.
You know how badass that was.
I'd rather play the part than to be the part.
Dude, I was so emotional. I was surprised how emotional I was. But I was like, life is fucking wild, man.
Dude, I wish I could share that moment with you, man.
Comes full
I'll
circle.
sit on the
It's wild.
steps of the bus, man.
Full circle. Full
Just
circle.
take me down the road, man.
It was wild. And then I got to do it the second time.
Yeah.
I just picked one up, well, I think it was about a month ago, from, I think, Kentucky.
Mhm.
And same deal. You go to the prison to pick it up, and then when I'm leaving, I'm looking back, and it has, the correctional, whatever,
Yeah.
the big sign or whatever, big, brick, whatever.
Bye, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, deuces.
That's
that
funny.
was a great feeling though.
You get to see that guy that was just scrubbing his hands waiting for you to come back. I am back, but this time I'm here to
Right.
pick something up. I'm leaving.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's an awesome feeling, man. It's like it's magical. It's like, man, it's like, it's just great.
Tell me what happened with that. Why did you have a huge jack for that kind of machine, or why did you even need to change it?
Oh, okay. So I picked up the federal bus, right?
Yeah.
They sold it with a bad tag axle. So the drive axle is the one that the motor turns the drive
Drives,
shaft,
yeah.
whatever, on the back. There's a thing called a tag axle that basically it's there to carry extra weight.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So they had let it go so long that the bearing was completely bad. So the wheel was trying to work its way to fall off.
Right.
So in dealing with these vehicles, they're what 20,000, 30,000 pounds.
Yeah. Look at it.
So you can't mess around. It's your life in your hands, and the people that the airbags can let down,
Yeah.
they can drop down on you.
Yeah.
So you have to really think it through. So I do have jacks that are 20-ton jacks. You have to buy all that stuff.
Where do you find them? I mean, like here, let's for example here in Austin. Oh, my dump truck.
Harbor Freight.
And they work.
Yeah, I've had.
I mean, I have one. I'm just saying at that level, a huge monster.
Yeah, they have a 20-ton jack.
I've
So you
passed
slide
by
it underneath, and
Yeah.
it has a remote air hose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have it.
Nice. I mean, I bought the small one. I'm already taxed on that little bitty one just yesterday, changing out a tire. We're like, we need to move it to the next one. The next.
Yeah, I have the big air gun, but then
Yeah.
I was like, man, now they have these half-inch impacts. They got 1,400 foot-pounds of torque. Right, so the lug nuts torque about 550 foot-pounds. So if you got something that can bust off of 1,400 foot-pounds, you can just do it with a little electric impact.
Wow. And
That's
how
wild.
many lug nuts go on that one?
Jeez.
10, 12?
What, 10, 12 with the wheel? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I see sometimes some of these they're like Facebook videos, whatever, from like China, and you see, there's this one guy. He's always working on some unique.
Yeah, I know the dude you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I've seen a couple of those
He
videos.
gets underneath them things like,
Yeah.
this is my life.
And
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
working. He's working in the rain. And
Yeah.
Rain, mud,
I watched that, and
hands full of grease.
I'm like, yeah, I'm about it. I'm gonna do it. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have that impact when I was working on that bus
Yeah.
at the time, so I had to get a big pry bar with a
Big
10 foot,
breaker.
and then climb up on the bus, and then stand and jump up and down on that big long
Yeah.
bar. Got one lug nut, and then climb back up and do the next lug
Yeah.
nut. So it was all manual. So I'm out
Yeah.
there in the country doing this all manual. Then I was like, well, this bearing's messed up. I can't get it out of here. I can't lift it. It's 400
I
pounds.
would say the tires heavy as
So
shit.
I said, well, the tire, got the tire off, rolled it out of the way, and then I chained another bus bumper
Yeah, I saw
to
that.
Right, yeah, that's
I
the
thought
video.
I was watching this in a movie. It was
Right.
you. Wow.
Right, that's the
Okay,
video.
yeah.
So then I just backed up.
Yeah.
I kept backing up, and then finally it came loose.
Yeah.
I got the axle out.
I thought this was Tommy Marsh
That's
fixing his
crazy.
Mustang when he said he
You
tied it to
gotta
a
do what
tree.
you
That's
gotta
crazy.
do, man. Yeah.
So that bus, the one you referred to earlier, that
Yeah.
little short bus,
Yeah.
that one was a prison highway crew trash pickup crew
Like
bus.
what year bus?
That one's
Like 70s, 80s or something?
mid 90s, but it's the same body style as that old 80s.
They were like that for a long time. That body
Yeah,
style, right?
Yeah, it's the same body style. That thing,
Is that diesel or 454?
5.9, 2-valve, Cummins diesel.
Two valve,
okay.
two valve.
It'll max out at 55 miles an hour. So I had to drive that thing 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It will turn a 12-hour trip into a 19-hour trip at 55. And then those big trucks are blowing by you at 80,
Oh yeah,
85.
Yeah.
You know, I got my little strobe light on,
Yeah,
ducking
yeah.
down when they're passing me, you know.
Damn.
Uh,
And does this have bars inside, or is it just the shell of the bus?
So it had no, that one has, since it was the lawnmower, it didn't have the bars.
Yeah.
But it did have all the cages for all the lawnmower stuff.
Oh.
No,
So what was funny is that bus was in Men in Blue. They changed the name of it.
Mhm.
They were looking for this worked out bus. Like, it's got a lot of character. That's a nice way to say
Yeah.
it. It was a piece of shit.
So,
And,
okay, I'm sorry. Go
that's
ahead.
okay. Anyway, so that's
I'll
what they were
continue
looking
after.
for, and that's what was in that movie.
I was gonna say, what movies have your vehicles been in? Do you know? I mean, there's probably a few.
So, Men in Blue for sure. Rearview Mirrors is another one.
Mhm.
A lot of them I don't know. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of times it goes like this.
Yeah, rental.
Yeah, you said, here
Texas,
you go.
what's
Yeah.
that Texas Walker Ranger?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it's Texas Walker Ranger with the one
Ranger
with,
Walker.
Is that a new one? Or?
The new one, not the one with
yeah, okay, I would say the new one. Yeah. Okay.
So a lot of my vehicles have been in their stuff. So the military, the buses, a lot of times. So sometimes there's a lot of involvement on my part.
Yeah.
Right. I started getting into the movies, but I put this together, right? I
Yeah.
said,
Eventually you do.
right.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'd like to be in a movie, right? You know, that'd be cool, right? And so
Negotiate
so
some
this,
terms.
this is how I do it.
Yeah.
All right, so they're already written the bus for me, right?
Right.
Let's talk about. We'll just say, for instance, the one in Bastrop. Right?
Yeah.
They needed a city bus. The city bus is I get a Capital Metro bus, right?
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Which I hate driving that thing, man, because I feel bad, dude. Because people chase the shit out of that bus when I drive it, and I feel bad, you know.
they think you're.
Right, they think
you
they
didn't
mi-
stop at the bus
Right,
stop.
they think they missed the
Transcript.
bus.
Hey,
Right,
yeah.
they think they missed the bus.
Oh my
It
God.
doesn't help that I do have a Capital Metro hat on, but I just like it. You know, I want to feel. Right, I want to
You want to
feel.
know what it was like when
Right,
you
right.
kept running after a bus?
Right, I'm not trying to like
Damn.
trick them, and I do feel bad, but it's like I'm just trying to get a taco, you know.
Taco in a damn
Right,
city
I'm just
bus.
trying to. Right. Well, what's funny about it?
How you can drive the thing?
Right. Okay.
You
okay,
can park where you want.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
You can park
Right.
on the street right there.
Right.
Boom.
See, that's the truth,
Damn,
right?
you get back in and there's people waiting.
Right, because you think people are like, where are you gonna park, dude? I'm like, what do you mean where I'm gonna park?
Park on the damn
I'm gonna
street.
hit the hazards and I'm gonna drop it down anywhere,
Yeah, you can
and
drop it
nobody
down there.
cares. They're like,
Wow.
oh, the bus driver's on break,
Yeah, that's
right? But you're really out
Hold on,
doing
do
your
you
own
have
stuff.
the LEDs in the back? What does
It
it
says
what
off
does it say?
duty.
Off
It
duty.
says,
Like off
no,
duty.
it says mechanic on test drive.
Mechanic on test, right?
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That'll
Oh,
get
that's
you
even
around.
better. Shit.
So
I gotta see
so-
that.
Donnie Dye's bullshit.
So-
BS.
Right.
Damn.
So how you get movies is basically you say
Run for the border. How about that?
you say, hey, is it cool if I just hang out on set? I just want to make sure things go smoothly.
Ah, that's
Man,
even
right.
there you
better.
go. That's it.
All right, so you just put that out there,
Damn.
right? All right, so these big productions, they have to pay a driver, professional driver.
Yeah.
Ah,
They have to pay a standby mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's 2 people. That's a lot of money, right?
Yep.
So if I casually say, hey, is it cool if I just hang out? You know, I'm just gonna hang out on set. Is that cool?
I would say
First-
yay or nay.
First thing they're gonna say is, oh, you're gonna be around? Do you mind driving the bus? And
Oh.
I know they're gonna say that, right?
Yeah.
Because it saves them all this money.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
So
yeah.
then, I don't get any extra money,
But you're getting.
but
your
I'm now
face
in a movie, right?
There you go.
So then, so I've got.
Hey,
I've got
go to wardrobe. You need to put this uniform on. 'cause
Right,
you can
and
be
they
a bus
totally
driver.
do. They totally do. Yeah,
Oh,
they
You
totally
don't have to put on a wig yet, have you?
do. Not yet.
Yeah.
And I'm real nervous too when they do the what is that the sheet where it tells you what the scene's gonna be.
Mhm.
What is it, call sheet or whatever? I don't know what it's
Yeah.
called.
Oh,
I'm always
okay.
nervous because I'm like, is this gonna be an action where the bus driver's got like fend off some dude with a gun or
Some-
something?
Yeah.
Right.
You got to make the face when you open
Right.
the door.
You
Like,
gotta.
Right. So
Yeah.
so I read it and I'm always like, okay, I just gotta drive. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
be glad that they haven't offered you you got to go into that trailer. We got to put some costume on.
Yeah, we got it.
It happened to me. Idiocracy, the movie Idiocracy.
Okay.
I went in there. They said, "Hey, you're supposed to have a part for be one of the security guards." Unfortunately, bad for me. I was too short, so they just next. But they took me into the little trailer, man, and they gave me the tightest freaking wig, dude. I was losing blood, and I'm like, I'm passing out, and I can't take it off, man. And I'm like, why the hell did I get a stupid haircut? Now they're making me wear this Bigfoot, and I look crazy, man. But I had to take it off every 30 minutes, man. Cause I'm like, hey, when are we ready? When are we ready? And there's some guy in the back where just yelling, ah! And he's recording himself. He's like for a good yell. So this is going on for like an hour, and I'm like just like literally just passing out with this. Dude, don't ever get yourself stuck when they say you want a wig. Try and say, can I have a cap? Or don't let them give you no wig, man. Cause it's awful.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun to get into those things, and if you find yourself a way like you did, I mean, by all means, keep coming back and just keep redoing the same identical. So get into a movie, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah, and it works. And the rentals.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are curious what do buses rent for, right?
Yeah.
They'll go for $650 a day to $1,500 a day, depending
For how many days?
Sometimes it can be
depends.
weeks.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
Right. So what's crazy about it? Where you'd ask earlier which movies, which whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of them I'm pretty involved in. Like, hey, I need this delivered here. Hey, we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Other ones, the majority of them, they'll say, "Hey, Donnie, what's up?" Nothing. They'll always say that.
Yeah.
Have they rented one out just so they can say we're gonna blow it up?
Not yet.
Are you waiting for
that'll
that?
be a whole
Are
lot.
you waiting for that one?
I've had people ask for me to help them find them.
Yeah.
But I have no qualms about with auctions, with all this stuff. Man, I'll turn people on. Hey, man,
Yeah.
you're looking for this? Great.
Go here.
Man, I'll even, because I'm obsessing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm there anyway. What do I care?
Yeah.
And if I can help somebody out, floor it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the contracts will say, all right, we need 2 buses, 2 days. Where you at? I'm like, all right, here's my address. So I send the address. The vehicle pull up. The window goes down. The contract comes out.
Yeah.
I sign it. And then they said, all right, your check's in the mail. Window goes up. And they leave. It's funny.
It's crazy how
Right,
they'll
right,
mail you
right.
the
And
check.
then-
It's
and
like
then-
no questions
right.
about it.
And then now they got it set up on direct deposit now, so now there's no more checks.
Oh, okay.
But now it's just into your account right away.
So now we're all putting in your mailbox. Is it here? Is
Right,
it here?
right.
I want to frame it.
Right. And then then they go get the bus. They know where the keys are at. They put fuel. If it has a flat, they fix it. They don't call me. They don't know. They'll tell me, all right, it's back. Or they'll text me, all right,
Yeah.
it's back. I'm like, okay. And that's it.
That's it. So not only do you have buses, but you also have cop cars. Have you started renting those out to them, or that's just more of
So-
a collection to flip, or
Right. So
because these are good cop cars too. They're real nice.
they're great.
Supervisor.
Right. I mainly stick only with detective cars, the attorney general type cars.
Do these have the has any of these had the Cobra motor in them?
Well, they have the police interceptor. So it's the police interceptor. 2011 was the last year. Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. So that was the last year, 2011. For a while, I got up to like 20 or 30 of just those.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh man, I want to get me a red one or fucking whatever color.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
There was some guy running around, man, with a real nice one, and then you'd walk around the other side, and it looked like that supervisor, he hit a tree, man, and just boom. So the guy's just driving around everywhere, man, with his dog and no door. And I said, dude, that's a badass car. He's like, come around. So we go around. Oh, damn, man, the whole side of the car is gone. It was hilarious. I haven't seen him in a while, but that was just,
Yeah, they don't go for a lot of money. I was up to
yeah.
high 20s in VIX, and then I was like, all right, how much did I make last year on these VIX? Oh, $500.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I caught myself. I was like, wait, you're just obsessing on these, but there's no money.
Yeah.
So I said, fine. Told myself, fuck it, get rid of them.
Yeah.
So in about 3 weeks, I think I got rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And then I saw this blue one. I was like, damn, look at that thing. That thing's badass.
Yeah.
And then before I knew it, I had 6 of them. And I was like, damn it, I'm doing it again. So I got to shake that. All right, I got rid of those.
Yeah.
Now I only have, I think I have three.
And that's just the Ford Indy.
I'm down to three.
That's
yeah.
just the Ford Indy. You
They're
just
great
get
cars.
obsessed. Yeah.
But the
they're
other
really
thing
nice.
is, they're good. Like, if it's a good deal,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it, dude. Like, I gotta get it. Like, if it's $1,700 for
Yeah.
some rare Crown Vic, because there are rare colors,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
rare
Mhm.
packages, there's rare, and I'm
About a museum.
I already know all that
Open a
stuff.
museum up for the. I don't want to inject something crazy.
No, it's I got all these vehicles. It's funny. You never know what the movie's gonna looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're like, all right, we're doing this crime show series from the '90s. You got any mid-'90s four-door sedan?
Yeah.
In fact, that really happened.
Donnie from Texas.
Right. I had this four-door sedan, like a Malibu, something,
Yeah.
right? And somebody hit me up. Hey, do you got a good car right now? I was like, man, I don't know about good. It's all right. I got a cheap car.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we'll come get it Tuesday. So but the movie called,
Yeah.
and they're like, we need it for Wednesday. So I
Damn.
called that person back and said, hey, can you pick it up Friday? Is that cool? Not the movie, but the other
Yeah.
person buying it.
Mhm.
So it ended up, I put it in a movie, and then they came, and got it on Friday.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Well,
and,
at least,
and I was able to rent it out, But anyway, they always look for some random shit.
Yeah.
So you
never know.
can't really get stuck on like Vicks or
You gotta wait for the opportunity to come. Right.
you just never know, man. You just never know.
So hit up Donnie from Texas. He probably can find it within a week or so. And,
You never know, right?
Rent it out to you.
The buses,
Yeah.
though, the buses are actually hard to get for production companies. You think of the school districts, they're not going to rent you a bus.
Yeah.
They're renting them out for kids, or using them for kids. But
That's true.
if an individual buys a school bus, they usually paint a big flower on the side and take all the seats out, throw a beanbag in it, right?
I've seen some driving around like that.
Right. So it's actually really hard to find a bus for production.
So one last thing, because you're a Ford guy, we talked about, but we didn't touch on what you do for your personal hobby, your personal.
Right.
Yeah.
Quickly touch up on what's up with the Lincoln and the shell that you're putting over it.
Yep.
What is that project? What is it? What kind of car? What are
Sure.
you building?
Sure. So first of all, you want to Google Bombshell Betty Bonneville.
Okay.
Bombshell Betty it's a 1952 Buick, Super Riviera,
Mhm.
body style 56R. It was a Buick originally built by a guy named Jeff Brock.
Mhm.
He's in New Mexico. He was really into the lowrider scene,
Yeah.
but then he also really liked land speed racing,
Oh, okay.
or he got into that. So he built this one-off kind of like a steampunk looking car.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, Bombshell Betty's awesome. So, such a long. I guess we don't have enough time for all that right now. But that's the team. That's my team right now. Is Bombshell Betty.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll get to drive it and put together my own team. This is 2 years from now, not next year, but the following
Yeah.
year. We've been working on that. But I like sharing things with people that normally don't have access to certain things.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look back the Indian, look back
Yeah.
the fire truck, look back the prison buses, which I take to car shows.
Yeah.
All these things is what people normally don't have access to.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was build a street version of Bombshell Betty. So I found a 1952 Buick Super Riviera,
Yeah.
body 56R, in Kansas, and I went and got it. Well, I also had a personal. It's a 2010. What is that thing? A Lincoln Continental
Yeah.
L.
Big one.
An L.
Yeah.
An L is a personal limousine. I bought
Yeah.
it. I bought it because it was a throwback to like the Chuck wagon type deal, where the person in the back was all comfortable,
Mhm.
the dude in the front was suffering. Right. This is a throwback from like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
early 1900s, late 1800s.
Yeah.
But this is 2010, and I saw that Lincoln. All right. So the dude that sits in the back,
Yeah.
he's got the volume control. He's
Nice.
got the radio, the AC control.
Yeah.
He's got the seat control. If he wants to stretch out, he scoots the seats forward.
Oh wow.
It's a big F you to everyone in the car
Yeah.
in the
because
front.
he's the boss. And I
Damn.
thought, man, that's Boss Hog, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, look at this damn car, right? So I bought that car, but anyway, it turned out that car had. I bought another auction, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I knew what it was, and I just wanted it. It's all black and everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it has the same wheelbase as Bombshell Betty.
Oh, so that's a
So I
great
bought
mix.
so it's called a rebody. So what you do is you basically cut everything off the car, the fenders,
Yeah.
the roof, the quarter panels, but it's still you got the floor and motor transmission. It's a running driving
Suspension,
car,
right.
So then you rebody it. Then you take the old Buick, cut the floorboard out, and then everything that you cut off the other car, you set it on top.
And have you done it already? Have you accomplished it already so far? I know you cut everything off.
I cut everything off. I have the car. I haven't. So I need to cut it out and then set it on the other. But I'm in the process of building the shipping container building out there. So I'm in the process of having the place.
Yeah, we might have to bring you back on because that's another thing to touch on. One last thing to touch on before we go. There it is, bombshell Betty. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
The Mustang. You've got a nasty boss motor. You're trying to recreate a Mickey Thompson tribute Mustang car.
So I was in partnership.
Yeah.
With a friend of mine.
Yeah.
We were gonna, he was older guy, retired. One day, I was like, all right, we're going to build this recreation of one of the 3 cars that Mickey Thompson had taken to Bonneville in late 1968 to promote the 1969 Mustang.
Yeah.
He had a yellow one, a blue one, and a red one.
Oh, okay, now I know.
And he set, 200-something records, 300 records. We were going to recreate that car, and since I knew Danny, and I actually visited the museum where the original car is at in Oklahoma, I was like, man, we're going to do this. It's going to be cool. Well, the dude that was helping me, he one day he just says, hey man, I don't have that many years left. I want to spend my time with my grandkids, and I don't want to build this car. And I said, man, I totally respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you, man. I respect that.
Yeah.
So I went and picked up my car. We cut the cage out. When you cut a cage out, the floor is all jacked.
Yeah, it goes to show.
So we put all new floors in it, put all new firewall in it. I still got the motor. The motor's a 598 cubic inch, all aluminum, John Causey, a Boss.
Yeah.
Boss heads and
Boss heads, Boss everything. It's right at 900 horsepower on motor. I've got the 6-speed with it. I bought that car for a girlfriend years ago, and
don't get in trouble.
right, I bought it for her.
Yeah.
And then when we broke up, I said, hey, I'd like to have that car. She goes, I'll sell it to you. I was like, how much do you want for it? She goes, well, it's worth more now because we've been fixing it up since I've been with you.
Nice.
So basically for her birthdays and stuff, I would buy bumpers and so, right. So it's my money.
Paid it for
right.
So you have to buy your own
right.
stuff.
So I said, that's fine. And so, so I went to pay off the last $1,000 on that car. She said, no, it was $4,100. I said, you never said $4,100 in your life. She goes, I don't give a fuck. Either you give me $1,100 or I'm keeping the title.
Damn it.
I said, all right, here's your $1,100.
So,
Anyway, so I got the car back.
yeah.
Damn it.
And
Don't you just hate on that shit?
Yeah.
So I bought the car twice.
I bought the car twice. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I bought it first time for her, and then I bought it back when
With
we
parts.
separated. Right, with the new parts. Right. So anyway, now it's going back for a street version.
Yeah.
I have a '70 Coronet, which is a car I always
I've
wanted.
seen that one. That's eventually.
Yeah, that thing's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost done. As soon as that's done, then the Mustang will go to Amarillo, and that guy's gonna paint that car too.
Blue or red or which color are you getting?
So I'm gonna go with a color called Black Jade.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dark green, and it's kind of like the Coronet. I painted it. It's called dark green, but they're very similar colors. Basically, it's got that little flip flop where it's almost like a beetle, where it has that kind of yellow, kind of sparkly in it, you know. But both cars will match, pretty close to match. The Mustang and then the Coronet.
I want to see that thing with that Boss motor just going to do some test runs at Little River. I'd like to see that thing.
I think it'll be crazy.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
So meanwhile, right? It's recently. This is recently.
Yeah.
A week ago. I found a '93 coupe, manual windows,
Oh.
stick shift.
Did you post that already? I thought
I did.
I think
Gray
I saw
interior, right?
That. Yeah.
So my friend Casey, I don't know if you remember Casey. Casey was always around me. He's high energy. He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's ready.
So he's gonna.
Anyway, so he's like, what are you gonna do with that car? What are you gonna do? He's like, man, I'll get you a motor. You want to get an old motor? I got you a 460. You want truck rods? You want car rods? What do you want? What do you want? And he's sending me pictures. He's finding all this shit, right? He goes, what kind of you like them dove heads, right? The 1970 dove heads.
Yeah.
I got a set. I got a pair. I'll drop them off at your house right now.
Wow.
And he's like, man, we can do like we did the old car. We're gonna do it white with the black hood. And he's
He already built it
fucking a
for
mile.
you.
I'm like, right. He's smiling. He's like, you got the transmission, right? He's like, yeah, man, I got the transmission. I do have one built already, just for I don't know why. Anyway, so then I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, you know what? The 69 is not gonna be ready for
Yeah.
another year or two, right?
Mhm.
You get it painted, then it's got to go to interior place.
Yeah.
You know, there's a guy in Houston that specializes in 69 Mustangs. I'm gonna let him do it because he's, you want somebody to do it right.
Yeah.
Why don't I put that boss in that Fox body? So there's a guy that did put a
Whoa,
boss.
How's that gonna fit?
It fits. It totally fits.
Wow.
So he had one. He wasn't real successful with it, but he had a boss in a Fox body. There's videos that you can YouTube.
Boss in a.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I know there's a prototype, like a 94 or something, or 95. They did it like that.
That's right.
I do. I have little Giant Lightning.
Yeah, that was that was another Kazi engine. In fact.
Oh, damn.
So Kazi is a premier Ford
Yeah.
builder, but he actually designed those boss heads. But I may put that boss in there because I'm like, it's just sitting on a stand. It's not doing nothing. Why should I build another motor? And I've got another P38 headed Kazi 408 cubic inch.
Oh,
Right. What the hell? Anyway, so
somebody's gonna come knocking at the door and say, "Hey, can you sell me that? I need it."
Oh my gosh, I know. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I think I will put that boss in that box body just because it's something different.
Yeah, well, it's
You know what I mean?
definitely gonna. Do
And then with the aluminum block, it's already got the box body oil pan and everything,
Yeah.
so it'll bolt right
So
up.
if you don't tear the floor out, it will make a nice car.
Well, for a little while anyway. Yeah. I'll have to get the subframe.
Man, when
connectors.
you get this stuff done,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna see it on Facebook. But as soon as I start seeing that Mustang come out, I definitely need to have you come on and maybe we'll even go to you and just, look at that sucker as it's as you put it together. That's the one I've been waiting on you to finish up for the longest.
For the 69.
The tribute Mustang.
Okay, so the guy backed out of that. He backed out of the deal. So I'm not. Yeah.
You won't be able. Okay.
I'm not going
Okay.
to build a Trivet. I wanted to. I'm not going to. So I'm just going to put the car back to street.
Yeah.
Now, when I say street, the floors, when we put all the floors back
Yeah.
in it, they have some really nice full frame floorboards. I don't know
Yeah.
how to say that. It's all fabricated, made.
Yeah,
We got all the firewall redone. So it's really nice.
Well,
So it'll be nice,
Yeah.
are you gonna take it to Liver, race it?
I like to, I never got to run 9 seconds in the quarter mile.
There you
I don't
go.
care if I run 999s. I don't care. I want to run. I ran 1030s and I dropped a valve. That was in Seguin.
Damn.
You know.
Yeah. Well, Seguin's not around, but yeah, you can go to the river. Definitely get a 990 out there.
Yeah, I like Little River.
Man, it's been prepped pretty good. I mean, you look at it, it's like
Of course, the slow down lanes are a little. The shutdown.
keep it down to 8th. Well, you're a quarter, but if you keep it at 8th, it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it has all good brakes. It has all good stuff.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on and,
Yeah,
and
man, it was a
giving us your
pleasure going out to you.
story.
Nice meeting you. Like I said, I don't
Yeah,
think I met before,
I
but
told Buck first thing. I said,
Yeah.
man, you don't understand. He's done some really
Yeah.
cool stuff. We got to bring him on.
yeah, it's gonna be
Listen
good. Like I
to
said,
him.
we may even get you back again. Like I said, there's always gonna be a repeat. And
Yeah, because I know you
there's
go
probably a lot more
There's always
stories you
stuff-
could tell.
There's always stuff happening. There's always stuff. Exciting
Bonneville.
stuff
You go to
going on.
Bonneville a lot, so
I go
definitely.
I go every year,
Yeah.
and I work with a
so
team.
what month is it? What month is that?
August
August.
and
Okay.
September.
So okay,
Yeah.
so you just got back like pretty long ago.
Yeah, it was. It got rained out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see that.
Several
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, but a friend of mine, they hadn't seen Bonneville ever.
Mhm.
I was like, great, let's go. I don't care if there's races going. It's not even with no races.
Yeah.
It's magical, man. Like it's.
It's something special about
It's
that place.
magical.
I want to go. Just something in the back of my mind says, you just gotta go check it out, man. Before one.
Yeah.
You could literally. You could check this out. Tomorrow you could go. All right, the flights. What, 3.5 hours, something like that? 2.5.
Never thought about it. No,
Okay,
it's gotta
check it
be
out.
an hour.
Okay,
We're in Texas, though, right? So it could be 2 hours just leaving Texas.
just say it's 3 hours.
Okay.
All right. You could fly out. You could get there at 8 a.m. You could get you a rental car.
Joyride.
It's a 2-hour, hour-and-a-half drive out to Bonneville. Go check out Bonneville. Go eat at the cafe, Salt
Yeah.
Flat Cafe. Drive back to the airport and fly and be home that night. And you could do it one day. Because I did it. I did it three months ago.
And there you go. Talking about that reality.
So
Don't
you
say.
could do it.
Yeah,
You,
I
you
can't.
could do it at any time.
Josh,
It's all out there. Both of you guys can go.
We may start doing something.
Yeah.
And,
To go
it's,
check these
and
places.
cost wise, if you plan it out flights, as long
Yeah.
as you go generally 2 weeks out or longer,
Yeah.
flights aren't that expensive.
Yeah.
And they're not to Salt Lake City.
Now
it's
my
not
problem
to-
is it's not so much that. My problem is getting on a damn plane. I'm not. I just. Yeah. I'll drive. I want to drive before I get on. I ain't getting on no plane, Hannibal.
You don't like flying?
No, I don't. I just no. I don't. I don't know what it is. I just if I'm not flying the damn thing, I don't want to be a
Yeah,
passenger.
but your odds of dying in a car accident are way higher.
Yeah.
And you get in
Yeah.
a car every day, so.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yep.
That is true.
Well, man, that's a wrap. We've.
Donnie Dye,
Yep.
we're gonna cut out. Like I said, I appreciate you coming out,
Yeah, of course.
enjoying the show, Paul and Buck show. Big
When,
thanks to them.
when can you come back again? After you do accomplish some good stuff, you got some good stuff, and you come back.
Yeah,
Come back in December. Think you can do some December?
yeah, I could do some December.
Okay.
By December, I'll have more funny stories. I got some funny stuff in the works.
I know. Look at these movies, man. You got going on.
I want to do a prison cell Airbnb, which I know sounds funny.
What?
I know, right? It's in the back of one of the prison buses.
Yeah.
There's a whole funny story behind it. Anyway,
Well,
that's
you
it.
also have the
There's so much going
you also
on.
have the cargo shipment containers.
Well, that's-
You've got some.
Yeah.
You've got some net going on top
Right.
of them. You've got your vehicles underneath.
We're getting ready to do the third.
We didn't even touch on your fire engine,
No.
ladder
The
extension.
thing was 10 stories.
Yeah, and we'll save it.
Yeah.
Guys, he's
Yeah,
coming
that's
back. We're gonna bring him back. First thing I'm gonna ask him about his fire engine, his extension of 10 stories,
Yeah, that's-
and how far he's gotten up the ladder with that sucker. Because I think somebody's gonna want to hear this story on it.
Yeah. Of
Thanks a
course,
lot,
yeah.
Donnie, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, guys, thanks
Bye.
for coming out.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, buddy, have a good one.
Hang it.
All right.
That's a wrap.
We're
That's
out.
pretty good.
Yeah, man.